and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock, I'm Barry Caffrey. The headlines: misdiagnosis at Watford General. Former Woodhill prison officer to be sentenced for selling stories about James Bulger's killer. And England's cricketers have beaten Scotland in the World Cup.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Health bosses have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. Medical staff at Watford General Hospital thought 61-year-old Robert Wilton had a chest infection when in fact he had pneumonia. An internal investigation has revealed a catalogue of errors were made by staff treating him in May last year. His sister, Judith Penrose, says they should be removed from their positions.
Until those people doing such an important role are held accountable, what's to change the fact that they think, oh, well, another day, another mistake? And tragically, for families like us, that leaves behind a whole stream of unanswered questions and heartbreak.
A prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger killer John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Woodhill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper. More from Tony Fisher.
Last month, the 67-year-old pleaded guilty at the Old Bailey to misconduct in a public office between February and April 2010. The charge is understood to relate to a single payment of £750 for information about John Venables while he was in Woodhill Prison. Last year, ex-prison officer Scott Chapman was convicted of the same offence, and in 2013, Richard Trunkfield was also convicted of selling information about John Venables.
Two former foreign secretaries are facing questions over allegations they offered to use their positions as politicians on behalf of a fictitious Chinese company in return for payment. Labour's Jack Straw and the Conservative Sir Malcolm Rifkind were filmed by Channel 4's Dispatches programme and the Daily Telegraph. Both men have denied any wrongdoing and have referred themselves to the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. Jack Straw has agreed to be suspended from the Labour Party. A family from Wheat Hampstead have been left with £100,000 worth of damage to their home after a hit-and-run driver drove into the wall of their house. The police have told them what happened is not a crime but an incident, a decision that's angered the homeowner, Janine Oxley.
There's probably far more incidents that happen that probably should be recorded as crimes but are left because, well, if they're recorded as crime, then suddenly it comes on their crime figures and they've suddenly got to show that they've investigated it.
Eddie Redmayne has won the Best Actor prize at the Oscars for his role as Professor Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. He said he was a lucky man and dedicated his win to people with motor neuron disease. The British film The Imitation Game has won the Best Adapted Screenplay Oscar. There was also a win in the Best Live Action Short Film category for The Phone Call. England's cricketers have beaten Scotland by 119 runs in their Pool A match of the World Cup in New Zealand. It's England's first win in the tournament. Chasing England's 303 for 8, Scotland were dismissed for 184 in the 43rd over. And the weather forecast: it will start cold and mainly dry with some sunshine. The winds will strengthen during the day with some scattered showers developing. Highs of 6 Celsius, that's 43 in Fahrenheit. BBC Three Counties Radio News. I'll be back with more at 6:30.
If you walk down through the woods today, you won't believe your eyes. In an old log cabin on the Great Whale River, underneath the rolling skies, lives a man called Woodrow all alone. You can hear the wood chops cry. He swings his axe all day and chops the trees away. Chop, 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 you can hear it sing. And chop, chop, chop as his axe is swinging. Chop, chop, chop through the woods it's ringing. Timber! Chop, 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 give it all you can. Chop, 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 sang the woodchop man. Chop, 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 through the woods it rang. Timber! Timber! As the bright sun shines through the towering pines, you can hear the woodman's call to the raging rapids of the Great Whale River, you can see the pine trees fall. As the sun goes down, you can hear the sound that echoes Woodrow's call. He puts his axe away until another day. Chop, 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 you can hear him singing. Chop, 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 as his axe is swinging. Chop, 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 through the woods it's ringing. Timber! Timber! Chop, 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 give it all you can. Chop, 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 sang a wood chop man. Chop, 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 through the woods it rang. Timber! Timber!
Take it, bongos.
Timber! Timber! Chop, 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 you can hear him singing. Chop, 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 as his axe is
Probably can't say chop, chop, chop anymore.
through the woods it's ringing. Timber! Timber! Chop, chop, chop.
That's right. That's the new theme tune to the show, guys. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Kelly Betts.
Guten Morgen.
Did you just roll your eyes at me? Boy, oh boy, have we got a show for you? Well, yes, we have to provide one contractually. Coming up, apologies, consequences, and why, well, Justin Dealey has fallen out with all of us over a film. Genuinely angry. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Are you going to... I mean, what's... Hello? What's... Hello?
Just checking something.
Oh, okay.
Why? What's up?
Well, I was going to do the story with you.
No, wait.
Really?
Hang on, yeah.
Kelly, are you rolling your eyes at me?
No,
Are you sure?
Yep.
Because you know what that does?
I'm biting my lip though.
Hey! Yay! Honestly, Dealey's fallen out with us. It's the weirdest thing. And it started off as a bit of banter, and now it's genuine fury. He was in a foul mood. We'll speak to him a bit later on and find out exactly what's going on. Can we get Primal Scream rocks, please? I fancy...
Yep.
I fancy...
Yep. Some Primal Scream.
No, I fancy you. Quah!
Wah, do you want it now?
Quah!
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Boyle's up to.
No.
She's walking around like the cock of the north. That's a phrase.
What does it mean?
I'm not sure. It's like a cockerel that rules the roost.
Press stop,
Why?
because there's that song for you.
Oh. Now you're talking. Chop, chop, chop.
Dealers keep a dealing, thieves keep a thieving, whores keep a whoring, junkies keep scoring, traders on a meat track, surgeons full of hunchbacks, bitches keep a bitchin', clap just keeps a itchin', ain't no use in playing, that's the way staying, baby. Johnny is so crazy, Tom's got a knife for the needle. Get your rocks up, honey. Shake 'em now, get 'em up downtown. Get your rocks up, honey. Shake 'em now, get 'em up downtown. Creeps that keep a crawling, drugs that keep a falling, teasers keep a teasing, holy Joe's a preaching, cops that keep a busting, hustlers keep a hustling, death that keeps a knocking, souls
your rocks off, please. Everybody. Don't do that. That would be inappropriate. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Now, the West Herts Hospital NHS Trust has had to apologise again for failing a patient and their family. Well, recently we heard from the daughter of an elderly man who had to sit on a cushion covered in another patient's filth. Then there was the family who were told that their dad had died when he was actually still alive on a hospital ward. In this latest case, 61-year-old Robert Wilton's life was cut short after he was misdiagnosed with a chest infection. Well, the family are calling for those to be involved to be held accountable for their actions. Catherine Boyle's been looking into this. What's the background to this case, Catherine?
Well, anyone listening in Hemel may well know Robert Wilton. He was a really well-known figure. He was a postman and he would cycle from his home every day to the depot before going out on his rounds, delivering mail to the town centre and the old town areas. And he'd cover up to 60 miles a week, so he was quite fit. In May last year, Robert was suffering from breathing difficulties, so his daughter Kelly called an ambulance and he was taken to Watford General Hospital, where staff thought Robert had a chest infection and treated him for that, but they got the diagnosis wrong.
OK, so he didn't have a chest infection. What was wrong with him?
No, he had pneumonia.
Oh, blimey.
So 2.5 hours after his family was sent home from the hospital by nurses, they were called and told that his condition had deteriorated. And by the time they arrived at the hospital, Robert had suffered a cardiac arrest and died.
Oh, dear. Well, what did the hospital's own internal investigation reveal?
Well, that staff had made a catalogue of errors. Hospital medical staff had failed to properly follow the National Early Warning Score, or NEWS for short. And that's something that's used to determine just how sick a patient is. Key tests weren't carried out, and Robert was transferred out of resus to another ward when he wasn't well enough to go there. The internal investigation also said that Robert had been transferred to a different ward in error as a result of organisational pressures of access targets.
What does that mean? And
a lack of knowledge and skills on behalf of the medical staff.
I would suggest that those words are more important than the lack of knowledge and skills on behalf of the medical staff. Now, if I went into the hospital, I'd take it as a given that the medical staff would have the knowledge and would have the skills to treat me and diagnose me.
And that's a reasonable expectation. That's why Robert's family believe that those involved should be held accountable for what happened. They've had 4 meetings so far with the Trust, and the last one was with the outgoing Chief Executive, Samantha Jones. But they feel that they're not getting anywhere, so they decided to speak out now. Robert's sister, Judith Penrose, says if this was a production line and errors had been made, people would lose jobs. And she doesn't feel that the NHS should be any different.
What I don't understand, what we don't understand as a family, is how those people aren't now held accountable, how they aren't removed from their positions, because if there is this mindset of non-accountability, which we believe very strongly from our experience if there is, then nothing's going to change. And until those people doing such an important role are held accountable, what's to change the fact that they think, oh, well, another day, another mistake? And tragically, for families like us, that leaves behind a whole stream of unanswered questions and heartbreak.
Now an external investigation going on into what happened to Robert. What's happening there?
That's right. The findings of this are due to be published at the end of this month, but the family aren't holding out much hope that it will reveal anything new. Now, it may be an external investigation, but Robert's family say the Trust has appointed its own people to carry it out.
What else have the hospital said about Robert?
Well, Dr. Mike van der Watt, who is the medical director, said he'd met with the family of Mr. Wilton, and this is a statement, together with our chief executive and chief nurse, to discuss in detail the events leading up to his death and the resulting investigation we launched. It's clear that Mr. Wilton did not receive the high standard of safe and compassionate care we expect, and I've sincerely apologised to the family for the distress this has caused them and for mistakes that were made.
Please don't tell me he says lessons have been learnt.
We've addressed the key issues that have come out of the investigation, including ensuring that patients, particularly those who are very seriously ill, are properly assessed and monitored by our doctors so that any early warning signs that their condition is deteriorating are picked up immediately and appropriately managed, which did not happen in this case. I've reassured the family that all serious incidents of this nature are reviewed as part of an individual member of staff's appraisal process, with extra training and supervision put in place if appropriate.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M14 northbound, there's been an accident between junction 4 for High Wycombe and 5 for Stokenchurch. That means there's a lane closed there, but it's not too busy at the moment, so it's not causing any delays at the moment. On the M1 in both directions, there are roadworks between junction 2 for Five Ways Corner and 4 for Edgware. That's looking fine so far, as it's not very busy yet, but it could get busy later on. It's also looking very wet on the cameras on the motorway, so take care for surface spray. On the North Orbital Road, that's starting to look busy around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And in Chalfont St Peter, there's there's roadworks on the A413 at the junction for Amersham Road, which could get busy later on as well. No reports of any delays at the moment on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, Samantha, yes. 6:16, it's Monday the 23rd of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Health bosses at Watford General have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. And Labour's Jack Straw and Conservatives' Sir Malcolm Rifkind are facing questions over allegations they offered to use their positions as politicians on behalf... Hang on. They offered to use their positions as politicians on behalf of fictitious Chinese companies. There's a sentence.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk about your story. They're little globules of it's chocolate. What is that sticking out of that?
That's the abdomen of the ant.
Roberto Perroni.
Film critic Richard Fitzwilliams, welcome to the programme. Richard, will you be watching Rambo 5?
They are unsubtle, they are silly, and they do not appeal.
Overweight people are being ignored, humiliated and insulted on a regular basis.
When you're in the supermarkets, people watching what you're picking up and passing comments.
Can I ask you, Claudette, what does it cost to have a cycle of IVF when you decide, well, I have to have children?
It all totalled to nearly £25,000. When you're in such a low and desperate place, you'll do anything.
Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
What are we doing?
Charging my phone up, mate.
Well, can you not do that like after?
Well, just do something. Do a bit of radio. Do a bit of work, for crying out loud.
Why?
Otherwise you'll be in trouble again.
Don't. We'll have to mention that, won't we?
Okay. Right, go on.
Hello, you're listening to BBC Three Counties Radio. It's 17 minutes past 6 if you're interested. You've probably still got another 10 minutes in bed if you press snooze.
Oh, don't do that. You
don't
might just say good morning PPIs.
Morning PPIs.
Now...
it's cold out.
Now, listen.
Wrap up.
We'll talk about this later in detail, OK? But, Justin...
Yes, boss.
We need to sort this beef out.
What beef?
Oh, 50 Shades of Beef.
Oh, that beef.
You are genuinely annoyed. For those who don't know, last night it was Justin Dealey's 50 Shades of Mayhem.
Yeah.
I was there. You were there. Kelly was there. You turned up.
Yes, I did.
Dennis from Dunstable was there. Biggers was there. Lynn was there. And there were two other ladies who I'm terribly sorry their names have escaped me this moment. And there were three other people further down in the cinema as well who turned up. So it was literally mayhem. But it was also literally the dullest film I have ever seen in my life.
Come on, boss. You are a creative person. I don't understand. Are you just saying this to wind people up?
You're right. I'm a creative person,
Yes,
and there
you
was
are.
no creativity. We came out going, it was so boring. We got told off by a woman in front for talking too much.
It wasn't even us. It was Dennis.
It was Dennis. There's a bit where they walk. Well, young ears, but there's a bit where they walk into the playroom, and Dennis goes, "Oh yeah, it's like my garage." And a woman turned around and said, will you shut up? I paid money for this. I said, it's not me, it's the old fella. It's all of you. I said, no, it's the 90-year-old bloke here.
It wasn't me.
So there were a couple of laughs because it was so bad. But Justin, you came out going, well, why don't you tell the boys and girls why you liked it so much?
Well, I just thought it was very, very creative. I think, you know, the psychology
Here
of
we
the
go.
film. It's the psychology of the film. And I think anybody who doesn't enjoy that film, I'm sorry, but you've got issues somewhere.
Well, yeah, the issue is I like good films.
No, the issue
I
is...
like rubbish films. I enjoy rubbish films.
It wasn't even laughable, was it?
No, it was tedious.
That part of your life might need... Well, that part of your life might be a bit boring.
Do you want to know the truth, Justin? I found it a little bit vanilla.
Did you know?
Yeah, we go.
I don't understand why. I mean, a lot of people... Oh, no, this tune. No.
Yes.
You know what this tune does to me? After that film as well, you are going to send me crazy.
Are you rolling your eyes at me, Justin?
He's biting his lip.
Can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answers that you want me to. Now when I talked to God, I knew he'd understand. He said, stick by me and I'll be your guiding hand. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to.
Gets a little bit silly now, doesn't it? A little bit ponderous.
Yeah.
He's coming down now.
We get it.
Yeah, we got it.
Just stop it.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Now, a prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about one of James Bulger's killers. Last month, 67-year-old David Hobbs pleaded guilty to misconduct in a public office after doing a deal with a journalist researching John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Wood Hill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to The Sun. Well, Justin, you've got more on this. Tell me about David Hobbs. Who is he?
Well, as you say, he pleaded guilty at the Old Bailey last month, admitting that between February and April 2010, he accepted a single payment of £750.
Gosh.
For information about John Venables whilst he was in Wood Hill Prison. Now, although no story was actually published as a result of his action, he accepts the charge of misconduct in a public office, due to be sentenced today, £750, no job, and he could go to prison for that small fee.
He's the third prison officer in as many years to get done for this, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, in December last year, the ex-Wood Hill prison officer Scott Chapman was jailed for 3.5 years. That was for conspiracy to commit misconduct in a public office, for selling details about John Venables to a journalist for up to, and this is a lot more, £40,000.
There you
go. Sentencing Chapman at the Old Bailey, Judge Charles Wyde said, in no other case that has been before the court has a public official made so much money selling so many stories to so many newspapers. In March 2013, a third former prison officer at Wood Hill, this time it was Richard Trunkfield, he was sentenced to 16 months in prison, again for selling information about John Venables to the Sun newspaper. That fee was £3,500.
What sort of stories were they selling then?
Well, during the trial of Scott Chapman, the court heard that he first contacted the Sun newspaper in 2010. He went on to sell stories to other newspapers, including the News of the World. These stories are basically about Venables' personal life and his interest behind bars. Now, Chapman said that he first contacted the Sun newspaper, and here's where people may have a little bit of sympathy. He contacted them because he felt that Venables was given special treatment. So these people are selling their stories about his personal life, his interest in the prison, of course. They're being given a bit of money in some cases, up to £40,000, but of course they're left with no career, and they're also left with a prison sentence as well.
Justin, thank you very much. We'll speak later, shall we?
Yeah.
I just... I don't know what we do with this. This whole the 50 Shades thing, because it is genuinely... We came out of the cinema, we were all expecting that... Well, Catherine and I and Kelly were expecting we'd all be high-fiving going, well, wasn't that rubbish? And you had a face of thunder.
Well, a lot of people coming out the cinema said to me as well, they did actually enjoy the film.
Who said that to you?
Well, some of the ladies that...
did you see those ladies? Did you see the ladies that were there?
Listen, boss, they have the right to an opinion. They are human beings, all right?
What?
They have the right to an opinion. They're human beings. It's not just your opinion that counts.
Oh, this isn't about them anymore, is it, Justin? This is you.
We'll speak to you just before 7.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh.
You got a thing about you. I just can't live without you. I really want you, Eleanor. intoxicate me. Even though your folks hate me, there's no one like you, Eleanor, really. Eleanor G, I think you're swell, and you really do me well. You're my pride and joy, etc. Eleanor, can I take the time to ask you to speak your mind? Tell me that you love me better. I really think you're groovy. Let's go out to a movie. What do you say now, Eleanor? Can we filter the lights way down low? Maybe we won't watch the show. I think I love you, Eleanor. Love me. Eleanor G, I think you're swell, and you really do me well. You're my pride and joy, etc. Eleanor, can I take the time to ask you to speak your mind? Tell me that you love me better. Eleanor G, I think you're swell. Eleanor G, I think you're swell.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M14 northbound, there's been an accident between junction 4 for High Wycombe and 5 for Stokenchurch. It means a lane is closed to northbound between that stretch, but it's not causing any delays at the moment as the traffic is still quite light so far this morning. On the M1 in both directions, there are the roadworks between junction 2 for Five Ways Corner and 4 for Edgware, but it's not causing any delays at the moment. It is looking wet on the motorways though, so visibility might be a problem this morning. On the North Orbital Road, it's starting to look slow on the speed sensors around the M25 junction 21A roundabouts, and in Royston on Melbourne Road, there are roadworks at the Town Hall roundabout, which could get busy later on, but it's not causing any problems at the moment. And looking at the train departure boards, there's no delays of more than 5 minutes at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts, and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30 with the headlines. I'm Barry Caffrey. Health bosses have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. Medical staff at Watford General Hospital thought 61-year-old Robert Wilton had a chest infection when in fact he had pneumonia. An internal investigation has revealed a catalogue of errors were made by staff treating him in May last year. A prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger's killer John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Woodhill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper. Two former foreign secretaries are facing questions over allegations they offered to use their positions as politicians on behalf of a fictitious Chinese company in return for payment. Labour's Jack Straw and the Conservative Sir Malcolm Rifkind were filmed by Channel 4's Dispatches programme and the Daily Telegraph. Both men have denied any wrongdoing. Eddie Redmayne has won the Best Actor prize at the Oscars for his role as Professor Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. He said he was a lucky, lucky man and dedicated his win to people with motor neuron disease. Meanwhile, the British film The Imitation Game, based on events that happened at Buckinghamshire's Bletchley Park during World War II, has won the Best Adapted Screenplay Oscar. And the weather forecast, a bright morning with sunny spells. Cloud will thicken during the afternoon with winds strengthening. Highs of 8 Celsius, that's 46 in Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers have their first win at the World Cup. They've beaten Scotland in Christchurch by 119 runs. Moeen Ali hit 128 as England reached 303 for 8 before Scotland were bowled out within 43 overs. After 2 defeats, former England batsman Geoffrey Boycott says it was a test that Peter Moore's side passed easily.
The better side won. On paper, England, man for man, I've said a far better side, and quite honestly, Scotland were never in the competition. Could have been that banana skin, never was, never materialised, never looked like getting squeezed out of it, England. And Scotland, to me, they just didn't look in the same ability as England.
In the Premier League, Liverpool's 2-0 win over Southampton has moved them to within 2 points of the Champions League places. The win at St Mary's came courtesy of goals from Philippe Coutinho and Raheem Sterling. Harry Kane's late goal was enough to earn Tottenham a 2-2 draw in the London derby at home to West Ham. Spurs had been 2-0 down, and Matthew Upson's late own goal denied Leicester City victory as they were held to a 2-2 draw against Everton at Goodison Park. Luton striker Mark Cullen may be close to a move away from the side. He was left out of the squad that lost 3-2 at AFC Wimbledon on Saturday. Hatters manager John Still told BBC Three Counties Radio that they had received an approach from another club.
Mark's expressed a view that, he'd like to take an opportunity that's come up. We'll talk about it Monday. I didn't think he was in the right frame of mind to play today, but we'll deal with it on Monday. At the end of the day, I only want players who don't want to play for Luton Town. Simple as that.
On Saturday, Stevenage were on the right end of a 6-goal thriller as they beat Southend 4-2. Stevenage were losing 2-1 until 20 minutes from the end when young Ben Kennedy came on. Although he scored 1 and created the other 2, manager Graham Westley played down his players' impact.
When a young kid comes in and does all right and nicks a goal here and nicks a goal there and has the odd moment, I think it's rude to ignore the efforts of the team because it's a team game, and it's great that a young kid has come in and done his job, but let's keep his feet on the floor.
MK Dons had a good weekend as they won and their closest rivals both lost. The Dons remained second in the table. Watford lost 3-0 against Norwich. Wickham won 3-2 at Carlisle. Those are the sports headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. I'm back with more at 7.
Colin Berry, swinging,
what?
Smart, satisfying sounds.
Sorry?
Sharp and syncopated.
Sparkling, smooth, stimulating sounds. Chic, sophisticated. Wonderful music.
What are you going to play after that?
This.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, women are filthy. As we know if we saw the film last night, 50 Shades of Grey. No, I don't mean in that way. I mean hygienically.
Yes.
4 out of 5 women don't shower every day.
There's a bit further along where it says that they don't wipe their bodies.
4 out of 5 women admit they don't shower every day, and a third say they can go for 3 days without washing their body.
How 70s?
I mean, are they having baths? Oh no, they're not washing their body, so I guess not. Researchers also found that almost 2/3 of women cannot be bothered to remove makeup before they go to bed. Well, when I've worn if I've done a TV job and I got taking that makeup off is such a faff.
You've got to. Your skin will thank you for it in the morning.
1 in 8 own up to not brushing their teeth before they sleep. Well, I don't do that. When it comes to washing in the morning, only 21% of females take the time to shower or have a bath every day. And a shocking 1 in 3 has gone as long as 3 days without washing or wiping her face or body at all. You dirty...
What? You mean at all?
Dirty old man.
You must wipe yourself.
It's gone. 1 in 3 has gone as long as 3 days without washing or wiping her face or body at all.
Wow.
You dirty old man.
But bearing in mind this is research done by a company that makes you want to feel like a filth pig so that you'll buy their products.
Oh, it's disgusting. Kelly, how often do you wipe?
Every time I go to the...
No, that's not what I meant. Catherine.
Hot cloth cleansing, that's the way forward, as we all know.
What you got in the papers?
Well, I haven't got this one. You've got it there, I think. But there was a woman who got attacked by an owl. She caught my eye.
Oh, there you go.
She shone a torch at it.
Page 3 is the sun. Go on.
It didn't like it.
Yeah, go on.
This is... Gosh, the way the Sun spun it is quite different from the way one of the other papers has.
Oh, really?
A randy owl has died bombing residents of a town thinking they're potential mates. The bird of prey, which has a 5.5-foot wingspan, has left one local with a broken arm. Retired nurse Sue Dunn, 70...
I see. Yes, it's a different story
was
in the Mail,
taking pictures when the Eurasian eagle owl, which appeared in Wootton under Edge, Gloucestershire, a week ago, swooped and caused her to fall. So, I mean, the owl might not have done the fall might have.
Hey, I got a great one. Not so much a tawny owl, more of a horny owl.
Can we say that?
You can say owl on the radio.
Lauren Thomas was in a park when the bird came at her like a missile. Wow. And Rob Carruthers says his wife Margaret takes an umbrella out for defence. Expert Jemima Parry-Jones thinks the owl is an abandoned pet. She said captive birds view humans as partners. Flipping heck.
Here we go. Listen to this. A little racist. This is brilliant. BBC DJ halts, and I can't even say this word. It's a racist word for Chinese people, but the Mail have printed it.
Quite a few times.
Song and says sorry. Ho, ho, ho! Pwned by the Mail.
Which poor sap?
Well, it would be some sad case who's seen better days and is working on local radio, I bet. Let's read. In its day, it was seen as a celebration of multiculturalism and racial harmony. But when a BBC DJ, sucker, played Blue Mink's 1969 hit Melting Pot, it's people like this that are doing people like us a disservice and dragging the good name of the good shit BBC into the mud. He admitted beforehand its lyrics might now be seen as inappropriate. BBC Three Counties radio presenter Iain Lee warned listeners, I think it might be a little bit racist now, but less than half a minute into the song, after hearing the words yellow cheese, stopped the track
and apologised.
At least we know you can't play that anymore. Mr. Lee's producer told him she had not checked the lyrics before he played it on the Three Counties. After stopping the track, he said, I humbly apologise. Mr. Lee had to apologise in August after he told his producer to do Black News. Yeah. Yesterday, the BBC said...
I don't think you admitted you thought it was going to be racist. I think you wondered whether it was. And we did apologise.
We made the papers.
It's often said that youngsters should be seen and not be heard, but I want you to realize that is quite absurd. Don't wanna be so meek and mild, so please don't treat me like a child. Gone
Kelly, you chose that song. Are you trying to
Insinuate?
What are you insinuating? I can smell burning.
Are you rolling your eyes?
What?
Did you just bite your bottom lip?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what that does? Hammer time.
Hey,
Yes?
restaurants and bars are charging cakeage fees.
Hey,
You heard this one?
cakeage.
You know, if you go to celebrate someone's birthday, often you'll take a celebratory cake of your own choosing and buying.
Sorry, no, what?
Sometimes.
If you go to someone's birthday, you take your own cake?
No, if you're celebrating someone's birthday, you might take a birthday cake.
Yeah, as a surprise to them.
Yeah.
Well, only if you've arranged it with everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So who's gonna?
Not your own slice. I'm not saying.
Yeah, but you don't just turn up. At someo's birthday with a cake.
No, when you go to a restaurant, they won't do a celebration cake for you.
No. You
You'll
go
take
to
your
the,
own.
No. Because some places they'll get the fanfare. It's Donna's birthday.
Yeah.
So they get the fanfares out. Happy birthday and all that.
And everyone else sings it. And then...
Yeah.
Anyway,
Why would
some
you take-
restaurants
you
you
would-
take your own cake.
Oh, if you say so.
You do.
Yeah, you do. You take your own cake before they get there, and you say to the waiter, "It's Melanie's birthday."
Is it Melanie's birthday
She'll
as well?
be the one in the green. Can you bring that out after she's had her dinner? Thanks.
We did this with my grand's birthday cake.
No, mate,
90.
no.
She was 90.
No. You can't take your own food to a restaurant.
can.
No, you can't.
You can, yeah, you can. But
No.
if you go to
don't
Gordon
supply it.
Ramsay's, they might charge you £9.
Good.
Like a corkage
What?
fee.
Just bring it out?
Uh-huh.
That is outrageous.
In a similar system to corkage, charges levied by restaurants that allow people to bring their own wine, many places, notably in London, that flipping London,
London,
are asking customers to pay extra if they bring in a special cake for a birthday party. I kind of think that's fair enough.
I'm sorry. I don't think you can take food into a It's like going to Kentucky Fried Chicken and taking a McDonald's. You just wouldn't do it.
For Melanie's birthday?
Yeah.
Melanie might like that. 'cause
It's
they just-
Listen, the Colonel, it's Melanie's birthday, right? When she's had finished off her bargain bucket, then
Have a
could
fillet
you,
of fish.
Yeah, can you bring this out? You just wouldn't do it, mate. You don't mix the clown and the Colonel.
People do. Research by the Sunday Times found that the Savoy Hotel, the Bodin's barbecue chain, and a number of Gordon Ramsay restaurants are among those adding the charge to the bill.
Who owns Bodin's?
Mr. Bodin?
No, Carol Decker.
Oh.
Really?
To push too far, your dreams are China in your hands. Ba-da-ba-bum-bum-bum. It may come true, but you can't handle it. You don't know what it means. Said it all before, but you cannot push too hard. Oh no. She owns it.
Good advice.
Thank you.
£9 anyway.
See, if it was a big restaurant like that, like the Savoy, you wouldn't take your own cake in there.
can't take a
wouldn't
cake
dare.
to the
They'd probably
Savoy.
do a better cake.
Yeah, you would ring up and say, "It's my friend's birthday, can you put a candle in something that you're bringing out?" But otherwise, if it's just like a beef eater, you'll just take your £5 cake from Tesco and then...
No, you'd say
other
you'd
shops.
buy cake from there. Bodin's is a meat restaurant. Barbecue grill.
They do fish.
Huh?
They do fish.
I don't know, mate. I've only been there, and I just had a big plate of it wasn't even a plate. It was like a chopping board
Oh, I like those.
of meat. Have you ever pulled pork?
Yes.
Delicious, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's a bit of a swizz.
What do you mean?
Well, the fact that they have to mash it up for you suggests it wasn't pretty to begin with.
Saves you a job of chewing, doesn't it?
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, it's looking very slow from junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road towards 9 for Redbourne on the speed sensors. Also on the M25 anti-clockwise, they're starting to build up between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. On the M14 northbound, there was an accident between junction 4 for High Wycombe and 5 for Stokenchurch, but that's now been cleared out of the way, and there's no delays showing up there at the moment. The A1 southbound, though, is looking slow on the speed sensors between the Holiday Inn and the Stirling Corner, and in Bounds Green on the North Circular Road, there are delays in both directions between Powis Lane and New Southgate. There's no really major delays, though, reported on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
That's what I'm talking about, Sammy. 6:45, Monday the 23rd of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The West Herts Hospital NHS Trust has had to apologise after a man had his life cut short because of a misdiagnosis at Watford General Hospital. And a prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger killer John Venables. 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Well, after yesterday's disgusting weather today, it is a little bit different. A bright start this morning, reasonably mild outside, frost-free at least, with temperatures above zero at the moment. Some sunshine at first, but we will see one or two showers blowing through on a strengthening southwesterly breeze. Now, over higher grounds, Chilterns, the Downs, for example, this could fall a little wintry, a bit of hail and sleet mixed in there as well, but more likely to fall as heavy rain. Now, these showers will blow through for much of the day, particularly through the afternoon. So despite the sunshine this morning, do be prepared. The maximum temperature later is not going to be much warmer than it is now, 5 or 6 Celsius, the maximum across all three counties. Now, overnight tonight, some clear spells at first, starting off fairly dry, actually, and that's when we're going to get our coldest temperatures, but we're hanging on to the breeze, and as the night moves on, we will see some showers arrive as well. All of those things combined help to keep the temperature above zero, so frost-free start to Tuesday, but still quite chilly. We will see more sunshine throughout Tuesday, still hanging on to the breeze, but it's switched to a northwesterly, so it's going to be really quite cold tomorrow. Maximum temperature, though, up to 8 Celsius. That's your forecast.
What you drinking? Rum or whiskey? Now won't you have a double with me? I'm sorry I'm a little late. I got your message, by the way. I'm calling in sick today, so let's go round for old time's sake. I'll never forget you. They said we never make it, my sweet joy. Always remember me. We were mischievous, and you were always wearing black. I was so serious, you know my boyfriend's mother nearly had a heart attack. I'm sorry I'm a little late. You know the stripes on a tiger are hard to change, and though this world feels like an empty stage, I wouldn't change a thing. So glad you're back again. I'll never forget you. They said we never make it, my sweet joy. Always remember me. I'll never forget you. At times we couldn't shake it. You're my joy. Always remember me. We just got swallowed up. You know I didn't forget you. We just got swallowed up. We just got swallowed up. But you know that I didn't forget you. We just got swallowed up by the whole damn world. What you thinking? Did you miss me?
Is it about a gap year?
I borrowed your silver boots. Now if you just let me give them back to you, I'll never forget you.
It's like killing a bee with a bazooka.
They said we never make it, my sweet joy. Always remember me. Go away. I'll never forget you. Oh, night at times we couldn't shake it. You're my joy. Always remember me.
Right, I've worked out what this sounds like. This bit.
Joy. Always remember me.
Right, right, Kelly. This bit.
I know.
What does it sound like?
Walker Brothers.
No, Kelly. Clip that last 20 seconds, please.
Yep.
And I want you to find the theme tune to Laverne and Shirley. Laverne and Shirley.
I think it sounds like Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore.
And find the sun ain't gonna shine anymore. Laverne and Shirley. Do you know what I mean, Just?
Not at this particular moment in time.
Okay,
but
we're
if I
gonna
hear the clip, I might know what you're talking
We're
about.
going to have back to back. I'm not saying the. How do you say it? Noisettes.
Noisettes.
I'm not saying. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Noisettes stole it, but boy, oh boy, they certainly ripped it off.
The sun ain't gonna shine anymore, was in.
No, but that was all right. Hang on a second. So this is what you think it sounds like. Oh no.
No. When you're without love. That's a bit.
Okay, I'll just skip forward to it by playing it at normal speed. Hang on. Loneliness.
Good tune, though, isn't it?
Was the clothes you wear. Romance. The romance. 50 Shades. This goes on for ages. We've got to listen to the whole... Loneliness. Loneliness. Is a go
What's the Laverne and Shirley theme called?
The theme tune to the Laverne and Shirley show. Laverne.
Show opening.
Why not? Here we go. Sing along, Kath.
No.
Only moon rising in the sky. The tears are always dry.
This bit.
Ah, yes.
Right, this is what we need, right? So, Kelly, a lot of work for you to do very quickly. The last 25 seconds of the Noisettes.
Yeah.
And in the track, There's Nothing Gonna Shine Anymore, I want that bit. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Kelly's working it today.
She is.
Rocking it.
Speaking of working it, it's Dennis from Dunstable.
Good morning.
A man who was so drunk he collapsed in the cinema last night.
Down the stairs.
And me and Matt Lockwood had to pull you up. We had to pull you off the floor.
And I wasn't even drunk.
No, well, that's what you say, sir.
With
Dennis,
those sweets that somebody gave me.
Dennis, that was Lynn who gave you some sweets. Dennis came with us to see 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
And he wouldn't shut up, would he, Catherine?
It was like the director's commentary. My favourite bit was when they opened the doors to the Red Room of Pain, and I heard this voice down the line going, "It's like my garage."
We were getting... What did you think of the film, Dennis?
I thought the film was rubbish. First of all, I thought the young lady was too old for the part. She should have been 21.
Well, you've read the books, haven't you?
I have three times.
Yeah, good lad. Oh, 3 times. Twice yesterday. You read them overnight, did you?
Overnight.
Yes.
But no, honestly, yesterday was absolute super duper duper. It's lovely to meet all you lot. I didn't realise how beautiful some of you looked, and I'm not talking about the men now.
Well, Dennis, you came up to me and I said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you," and you said, "Well, we've met before."
Yeah, well, I got you mixed up
with Justin. Flipping it.
That's a comp.
I didn't realise how tall you were to start with. I knew that Justin was very tall.
I didn't realise how close to the end you are, Dennis. Blimey, you're old.
I know. Don't worry, I'll make it. You can. That 10 quid you've got is safe.
Did you get home all right in that cab?
Thank you very much. Yes, you paid for it.
Good lad. Right. Well, don't tell everyone that. They'll all want a piece of the action. Right now, listen, Dennis, stay there because Justin, it was 50 Shades of Mayhem last night, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
Well, you took it upon yourself to record the event.
Yes, we went to Cineworld in Luton, 50 Shades of Mayhem, to get a different perspective, a man's perspective on this film. When we arrived, Dennis was there waiting for us, very smart, with his walking stick as well. So we've got this in two parts. We've got a before and after. Here is 50 Shades of Mayhem, part one.
Now, bearing in mind, we're in the papers today.
Yeah, there's quite a few bleeps in this, don't worry. Everything's under control.
Okay,
here's part one.
Let's have some of it.
Boss, we have just walked inside the cinema, and the mayhem is about to start.
Oh, we're in screen 4. The mayhem is rising. Dennis from Dunstable's here.
Dennis,
hello.
How are you?
I'm not going to eat that. I honestly can't remember when I was last in a cinema. I've been in cinema for years.
Now, we're giving this a different perspective. Are you looking forward to the film?
Well, as I've read the book 3 times, yes. And it's partly my autobiography. It's a lot of that you pinched it.
Is he going to whinge all the way through this?
I'm not.
Well, then just come on, enjoy the film.
He's asking me. Well, do I enjoy it? I said, yes, I've read the book 3 times, so I ought to do.
Listen, Dennis, you're sat next to me. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your eyes on the road, your hands on the wheel. Keep your filthy mind to yourself. We're going to enjoy this. We got Mama Kath. We got Kath here. We got
I know.
Kelly Betts with glow sticks.
Yeah.
She's set him off.
Glow sticks.
She set some glow sticks off. Man, I just can't wait for this. This is going to be mayhem.
It's going to be epic. Biggers is here as well. We'll talk to Biggers in a second. When we came into the cinema, a whole host of ladies also said, here we are. We're here for 50 Shades of Mayhem. So we've got a lot of people here expecting absolute chaos.
Organise the mayhem.
Yeah, we have. Okay. Biggers, can I just interrupt for a second? Biggers, you've turned up for this event today. How excited are you about watching this film?
I'm ecstatic, mate. Is that the right word? Can I say that? I've got my Kleenex, so I can wipe my eyes if it's a bit tearful. If I get a bit upset. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sitting next to the lovely Kelly. I've got Catherine to my right hand side. I've got Ian, the main man, and of course yourself, mate.
Yeah, well, you keep your hands to yourself, okay?
All right, mate. It's here, mate. I'll put them in that.
That's figures. Got some ladies down here as well. Ladies, good afternoon. Who have we got here? What's your name?
Hello, I'm Tina.
Hi, Tina.
I'm Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Hey, I'm Sharon.
Now, when you saw Dennis from Dunstable walk up them stairs, you were screaming with laughter because it's not very often you see a man of his age coming to see a film like
No,
this.
that's right. Okay, well, I am actually first aid trained, so
If all goes wrong,
mouth to mouth will be available.
ladies, enjoy the film. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
We just went through some trailers. The film's about to start. Dennis, what's that in your hand?
Well, it's not what you think. It's a green light.
What's that between your legs?
Oh, that's my stick. My stick.
Are you ready for the film?
I've been waiting for it for hours.
Let the mayhem begin.
All right, yellow card. Dennis, it was an awful film. Tell Justin how rubbish it was.
Well, it was all right, but as I said, having read the book, I didn't realise that young lady had been to Brazil.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. I've got no idea what that was a reference to. Justin?
Part 2 to come later on.
I don't know what we're sending you out on.
What have you want? I mean, at the moment, I'm busy editing 50 Shades of Mayhem, but you tell me what you want, boss, and I shall go out and ask the people.
Women showering. You seen that? Very quickly.
How do you talk about that? Women don't shower every day, is
4
that
out of
correct?
5 women don't shower every day. 1 in 3 has gone 3 days without washing or wiping her face or body.
Well, what about we open up to everyone? What's the longest you've gone?
Can you take that out to the streets, Just?
With pleasure.
Ta-ta.
When I did my Duke of Edinburgh's award,
Yeah.
I went about 5 days, didn't get changed or anything.
Oh,
It stank.
Oh, I hate it.
We had to burn the tent.
We will play. Listen, this is this bit. Oh, well, let's be late for the travel. This is what you think it sounds like.
If they speed it up, it's the same.
No. Sounds exactly like this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasenbemp Incorporated. We're gonna do it. Give us any chance, we'll take it. With any rule, we'll break it.
Here it comes.
Gonna make our dreams.
Oh no, actually, maybe it's right at the very end.
Doing it our way. Nothing's gonna turn us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. There's nothing we won't try. Never heard the word impossible.
Here it comes. It's coming.
There's no
You'll have to wait for us, I'm afraid, you to travel. Here we go.
on your mark, get set and go now. Got a dream and we just know now.
Here it comes.
We're gonna make
The Bitland Noisettes ripped off. Here we go. Here it comes.
and we'll do it our way, yes, our way. Make our
It's the same.
dreams true, and we'll do it our way, yes, our way. Make our dreams come true. For me and you. I'll never forget you. All night at times we couldn't shake it. You're my joy. Always remember.
Actually, maybe not.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's looking slow from junction 17 for Maple Cross towards 15 for the M4. Also looking very busy from junction 21A for St Albans towards 19 for Watford. On the M1 southbound, it's very slow from junction 11 for Dunstable Road towards junction 9 for Redbourne, and it's also starting to build up on the A5 from Lynch Hill towards there as well, in the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne. On the A1 Great North Road, that's looking very busy now between the roadworks from the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout southbound. No reports of any major delays on the trains though. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. That's me doing a generic Manc voice.
That's the voice you do for me.
I know. My name is Catherine Boyle.
I don't even talk like that.
I'm not touching that today.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock, I'm Barry Caffrey. The headlines: misdiagnosis at Watford General. Hit and run driver caused £100,000 worth of damage to Wheathampstead home. And England's cricketers have beaten Scotland in the World Cup.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Health bosses have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. Medical staff at Watford General Hospital thought 61-year-old Robert Wilton had a chest infection when in fact he had pneumonia. An internal investigation has revealed a catalogue of errors were made by staff treating him in May last year. His sister, Judith Penrose, says they should be removed from their positions.
Until those people doing such an important role are held accountable, what's to change the fact that they think, oh, well, another day, another mistake? And tragically, for families like us, that leaves behind a whole stream of unanswered questions and heartbreak.
Well, Watford General admit Mr Wilton did not receive the high standard of care and compassionate care that they expect, and they've apologised to the family. A prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger killer John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Woodhill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper. More details from Tony Fisher.
Last month, the 67-year-old pleaded guilty at the Old Bailey to misconduct in a public office between February and April 2010. The charge is understood to relate to a single payment of £750 for information about John Venables while he was in Woodhill Prison. Last year, ex-prison officer Scott Chapman was convicted of the same offence, and in 2013, Richard Trunkfield was also convicted of selling information about John Venables.
Two former Foreign Secretaries, Labour's Jack Straw and Sir Malcolm Rifkind of the Conservatives, are embroiled in a new row over cash for access. They were recorded by Channel 4's Dispatches programme and the Daily Telegraph, apparently offering to use their positions and contacts to benefit a private company in return for payments of thousands of pounds. Both say they've stuck to the rules and have referred themselves to the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner. A family from Wheathampstead have been left with £100,000 worth of damage to their home after a hit-and-run driver drove into the wall of their house. The police have told them what happened is not a crime but an incident, a decision that's angered the homeowner, Janine Oxley.
There's probably far more incidents that happen that probably should be recorded as crimes but are left because, well, if they're recorded as a crime, then suddenly it comes on their crime figures and they've suddenly got to show that they've investigated it.
Eddie Redmayne has won the Best Actor prize at the Oscars for his role as Professor Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. He said he was a lucky, lucky man and dedicated his win to people with motor neuron disease. The British film The Imitation Game, based on events that happened at Bletchley Park during World War II, has won the Best Adapted Screenplay Oscar. There was also a British win in the Best Live Action Short Film category for The Phone Call. England's cricketers have beaten Scotland by 119 runs in their Pool A match at the World Cup in New Zealand. It's England's first win in the tournament. Chasing England's 303 for 8, Scotland were dismissed for 184 in the 43rd over. And the weather forecast, it will start cold and mainly dry with some sunshine. The winds will strengthen during the day with some scattered showers developing. Some of the showers could be heavy and wintry. Highs of 6 Celsius, that's 43 in Fahrenheit. Get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Thank you, Barry. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. So, what's the longest you've gone without washing? Come on, be honest, be honest. 50 Shades is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the worst films I've ever seen. And it's not even good bad. I like bad films.
Yeah, I
can enjoy sniggering through a bad film. And there was some sniggers, but just because the dialogue was so poor.
I can just imagine the headlines if we were to do them. You know, they'll say, The Mirror, stunning.
Yeah.
The Mail, filthy. Catherine Boyle, too much faffing about.
There was a lot of faffing. I mean, honestly, who's got the time to work out how to tie those knots?
Pointless.
And he was, fair play, he was rubbish. I thought he was so wooden, that fella.
He was very pretty, though. That was the one saving grace.
Well, you were excited because you got to see his bum. Amongst other things. There can't be anybody listening apart from Justin Dealey who thought that film was in any way worthy of watching.
What I loved about it was that his analysis was it was psychologically interesting.
Yeah, why did you like it, Justin? Oh, I like the psychology of it. He made her into... She was nothing, and he made her into a something. Yeah, he made her into a hooker. He gave her a place to live and bought her a car in exchange for SEX. Well, there's... No. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Have we, before we crack on with a rather serious story, have we got any,
Let's have a look. I've not even logged into the texts
No,
yet.
it's a real kind of... Going out on I never go out on a Sunday night because
Not on a
I
school
do...
night, that's crazy.
Because we do this. Kath's up at 3:30, I'm up at 5 to 4. And so it felt very, very naughty. I mean, I was in bed by 9, half 9, but it still felt very, very naughty.
Mm-hmm.
Very naughty, and I'm feeling the effects of it today.
Are you?
Yes.
How so? How is that manifesting itself?
Tired, grumpy, irritable, sore eyes.
Well, that's every day, isn't it? Hang on a sec, let me just get this.
You're such an idiot.
What?
08459 455 555. Or you can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. Otherwise, BBC Suffolk gets our texts and then they steal our topics.
And they won't know what on earth we're on about,
No.
will they?
No.
It's crazy guys at Three Counties again. No, we haven't got any... one.
Go on.
Pat.
Hello, Pat.
Houghton Regis.
Hello, Pat.
Hi, Iain. I received a frantic phone from my sister-in-law and wife who thought they saw a big black cat the size of a panther in Streatley. They got out of the car to walk towards it and they realised it was a panther in the distance. It then started to run towards them and my sister-in-law screamed out to my wife to run to the car. They got back to the car safely and the cat had gone. They have reported the incident to the police.
Hey.
Big cat.
When was this?
Well, Pat, was this recent? It looks like it was recent.
Pat, we need to speak to... Who is it? His wife and sister-in-law?
Yeah, ring us up, Pat.
We need to speak to them. And he uses the word panther. Where is this?
Streatley.
OK, well, this is the official BBC line. There is a panther loose in Streatley. Do not leave babies abandoned.
Or just a great big moggy.
No. He's used the word panther. That's all we have to go for.
He didn't see it.
Well, exactly. So this is a third-hand story, which is enough evidence for me. If we were Sky, we'd send a helicopter out there now.
If we had a helicopter.
Oh, I wish we had a
We've got
helicopter.
Justin and a bike.
Send him out to Streatley. There's a panther on the loose. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, here's a story. West Herts hospitals have been forced to apologise to yet another family after admitting failing their loved one. An internal investigation. Remember, there's been a few of these cases where they've had to put their hands up and say, yeah, do you know what? We got it wrong. Well, here's another one. An internal investigation into the treatment of 61-year-old Hemel postman Robert Wilton revealed a catalogue of errors, starting with misdiagnosing his pneumonia as a chest infection. Well, as a result, he passed away after a few hours in the hospital, didn't he, Catherine? I think I've got that right.
That is right.
Well, we'll speak to his sister, Judith Penrose, in an hour. She wants someone to be held accountable for what happened. But first, I'm joined by Paul Sankey, who is a clinical and medical negligence solicitor at Slater & Gordon. Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
How common is misdiagnosis, particularly to this kind of serious level?
It's an alarmingly common problem. I think one has to start by saying that a lot of the care given in NHS hospitals is excellent and the envy of Europe, but there are some alarming statistics suggesting that as many as 1 in 10 patients suffers harm as a result of errors in treatment.
Can we blame the hospitals every time, Paul? Because the human body is flipping complicated, isn't it? And sometimes one symptom might make you think that there's problem A is happening when actually it's problem B.
Well, one can't blame the hospitals every time there's a poor outcome because, as you say, a lot of medical problems are highly complex. But there are, as I say, an alarming number of instances where patients suffer avoidable harm, and that's really the key here, what is avoidable and what is not.
Well, an investigation found that the medical staff failed to properly follow now let me get this right, the National Early Warning Score, NEWS. What is that?
Well, the Early Warning Score is it's a chart, in effect, to help it records nursing observations. And so a patient in hospital may see a nurse every, 4 hours, depending on their condition. The nurse will be reporting on their blood pressure, their oxygen saturation levels, various easily recordable features. They record that on a chart, and the chart gives them a guide as to when a patient is deteriorating. In effect, it has 3 colour codes. And when you go into the amber, then that's a cause of alarm. And when you go into the red zone, that's a cause of serious alarm. And it should help them identify when they need to get a doctor to see a patient because the patient is deteriorating or there's something they need to look at.
And if this national early warning score isn't followed, what well, obviously in this case, it resulted in death. What other things can happen?
Well, potentially it's catastrophic if... the whole point about this is it's a bit like indicator lights on a car when something is going wrong. You might have the amber light that tells you that there's a problem. It may not need to be dealt with immediately, but you need to keep an eye on it. And there's the red, which tells you that you're into the serious danger zone. Now, if you ignore that, the results can be potentially catastrophic. And we've acted for the families of people, sadly, who died because it's been ignored. Quite often the problem is that they're developing infection. The infection causes sepsis, which is the body's reaction to infection, where things start to shut down. So we've acted for families of people who've died. We've acted for people who've unfortunately suffered amputation or people who've suffered strokes.
The family in this case, and I would imagine this is quite common, that no one has been held accountable. They've had meetings with the trust and an internal investigation. We know that mistakes were made, and yet no person or peoples have been held responsible. Is that common? Is there anything that can be done to push that?
Well, I think part of the problem with the complaint system is that people don't necessarily see what's going on the other side of the system. So they make a complaint. The hospital will investigate. Hospitals do investigate in response to complaints. Sometimes, I have to say, sometimes the response to those complaints is a bit of a smokescreen and they don't properly investigate or they don't communicate properly the results of that. Sometimes they are honest and open investigations and they put up their hands and admit fault. But I think from a patient or the family of a patient's point of view, they don't often see what's going on behind the scenes. They might not see whether a nurse or a doctor has been disciplined. They might be told that there's been retraining offered, but they probably don't have a very clear picture of what's going on behind the scenes.
And, touch wood, this has never and will never happen to me, so I can't put myself in the position of anybody that's affected by this. But the thought of suing the NHS, it sits at the moment slightly uncomfortably with me, Paul. Is that sometimes the only option open to people?
Sometimes it is. The evidence suggests that only a very, very small number of people who suffer medical injuries sue their hospital. So despite all the stuff that newspapers talk about, the compensation culture, there is no compensation culture. People are very reluctant to do that. But it's perfectly appropriate. If people have suffered an avoidable medical accident that's down to negligence and they've suffered harm, there is no reason whatsoever why they shouldn't seek compensation. They shouldn't seek damages. It's part of a decent society that enables people to recover damages where they've suffered harm which should have been avoided.
Paul, really interesting talking to you. I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. It's Paul Sankey, clinical and medical... Why am I struggling to read today? Clinical and medical negligence solicitor at Slater and Gordon. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Let's get the travel. Here's Sammy.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 Great North Road, that's looking very busy southbound from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks. Also, the A10 southbound looking very busy from the New River Trading Estate towards the M25 Junction 25 for Enfield. Looking at the cameras on the M25, and that's looking very busy from Junction 21A for St Albans to 18 for Chorleywood. The A1M southbound looking slow from Junction 3 for South Hatfield towards the M25. And looking at the cameras on the M1 southbound, there are queues building up between Junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road, and it's also looking very wet and shiny on the road surface, which could cause some visibility problems. No reports of any major delays, though, on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy?
Yeah?
Have you seen 50 Shades of Grey?
Oh, I have.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
I don't recommend it.
Isn't it boring?
Yeah, my friend had a nap.
Well, do you know what? I was starting to doze off, and I was sat next to Kath, and she nudged me. I said, "What?" She goes, "Oh, I thought you were asleep." I said, "Yeah, I was dozing off."
Maybe a better use of the time.
It's so tedious, isn't it?
I just don't think it's a very nice entertainment. It's not entertainment.
He's not a nice fella, is he?
No, he's not. He's not a good guy.
Sammy, thank you very much. 7:16. It is Monday, the 23rd of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Health bosses at Watford General have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. And a family from Wheathampstead have been left with £100,000 worth of damage to their home after a hit-and-run driver drove into the wall of their house.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, guys, I don't want to panic you, but there is a man-eating panther on the loose.
Every weekday from 12, local people.
Wendy Howson and David Shipley, the trustees of the Harpenden charity Spotlight on Africa.
So privileged to see lives change, conditions change.
Local stories.
A deaf cafe will be popping up in Bedford later this month, opening its doors for you to share sensitive stories and talk of afterlife.
There are people with the similar concerns. And you can have a light-hearted side of it as well, and we often end like that, you know.
Local life.
We're going to be heading off into the unassuming countryside of Bedfordshire.
We all know the brick pits and the industrial spoil that's marked the Marston Vale.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, we had a genuinely, and I don't, you know me, whenever we talk about stories, I don't like to stir things up. We're not one of those shows where we create panic. OK, we try and keep our feet firmly on the ground.
We've just done a feature about 50 Shades of Mayhem.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Talking about chaos in a cinema.
It's a little bit of bants, but this is actually serious. There is a man-eating panther, possibly a baby snatcher, loose. We had a text from Pat. We've managed to get Pat on the line. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning.
Now, Pat, as we often lock horns, although I find as I'm getting older, I'm agreeing more and more with your nonsense.
That's because you're maturing.
You're such a good sport. So you're very level-headed normally, and your feet are on the ground, which is why I was surprised this came from you. What the hell is going on out there?
Well, I got a frantic phone call while I was out and about, and my sister-in-law was screaming down the phone, "I've just seen a panther. We just seen a panther." And I thought, well, we'll go through it then. And apparently they were coming from Barton through Streatley, and they noticed a big black object in the distance where there was a load of hedging, and they thought, well, that looks like a cat, a big cat, and they pulled over to the side of the road in a lay-by, and foolishly they decided to, and I say foolishly in big capitals, they decided to waltz across the road.
This is the thing that gets me.
Because this is the bit in the horror movie where everyone in the cinema is going, "No, stay in the car." Why on earth did they get out?
Well, they wanted to see if what they were seeing was real for real.
They wanted to see which one would get eaten first, yeah. So they got out of the car?
They went towards the field where they thought they saw the panther, and my wife was following behind my sister-in-law.
Clever.
Yeah, throw her first.
Yeah, I think that's clever as well, actually.
Human shield.
Not a very fast runner either. But as the sister-in-law looked in the distance, she saw this cat there. My wife saw it sort of sitting up, if you like, with a longish kind of neck, looking at them, and all of a sudden the cat started to go towards them. That's when my sister-in-law started to scream and panic, and told my wife to get to the car quick, and they rushed back to the car, locked themselves in, looked back, and it had gone.
They're lucky, you know. Running away from a big cat is a come-on.
Yeah.
They think the chase is on.
If I have to say, my wife did have a zebra trousers on.
Was this last night, Pat?
It was yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning. Tell us exactly where again?
It was in Streatley, as you're going through the gates. There's gates as you enter.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And there's a sort of stretch of hedging along the.
It's good. It's good to talk to you. Thank you, Pat. His feet are firmly on the ground. His head is not in the clouds.
We've got a text here from Stephen. 2 points. 1, 50 Shades was watchable, but as a male and not having read the book, it was predictable. In regards to panthers,
yes,
we have one that roams around. It comes my way every 4 years in Clapham, Bedford.
What?
Says Stephen.
comes every 4 years.
What on earth is going on?
08459. We need to send Justin. No, maybe not today, but we'll send Justin out on this at some point. 08459 455 555.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, a prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger killer John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Wood Hill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper about this. Well, Juliet Lyon is the director of the Prison Reform Trust and joins me now. Morning, Juliet.
Good morning.
John Venables, committed a heinous crime, can be considered a thoroughly unpleasant person, but even he deserves privacy, doesn't he, whilst in prison?
Well, that's right. It's a really difficult job working in a prison, whether you're managing or whether you're a prison officer. But everybody has a duty to hold people safely and securely and to maintain standards and discipline.
And some people will scratch their heads at that, going, well, what he did was absolutely a horrendous crime. The prison officer claims he was upset that Mr. Venables was seeming to get preferential treatment. But that's still the basis of one of the tenets of our prison is that people have a right to privacy, and they've got rights.
Everybody has rights. Obviously, if there's a terrible case, it's all publicised and we all hear about it or read about it. But when you're looking after somebody in prison, you have to look after them with respect, regardless of what they've done. And it means that the job is very, very difficult because you're dealing with people, obviously, some of whom have committed very serious and very violent crimes. But that is the nature of the job. And you're not there to go to the press about them. You're not there to treat them badly because of what they've done. They have to be treated as anybody else would in that prison. And that doesn't mean privileges, but that means, with decency.
750 quid he got for this specific story. There may have been others, but for this one that he's been done for, it's not a lot of money. The implication being, Juliet, that prison officers don't get paid very much.
Well, given the nature of the work, the pay is quite low. And one of the things that's happened recently is that the prison service have suffered massive budget cuts and as a result have lost, almost a third of the staff. The staffing levels have dropped dramatically because their wages have been pegged to the lowest level that a private prison can run on. So, that's putting the service under considerable strain in the last couple of years.
This is the third instance at Wood Hill Prison. Is this a particular problem in this prison, or is it a problem across all prisons?
It's not. Thankfully, it's because we're talking about it, and it's in the news. You can tell it's not that usual. It's not something that happens that often. It's unlikely to happen in a local prison. It will happen in a prison where high security people are held, or people are held who've committed particularly serious crimes, because they're the ones that have been in the news. But regardless of what they've done, as I said, they're there to serve a sentence, sometimes a very long sentence, and they're there to serve it under the same conditions as anybody else would. And that obviously involves, respecting that level of privacy.
Juliet, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Juliet Lyon, Director of the Prison Reform Trust.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
You'll like this one, Kelly. This is from Scott. I won't claim ownership of it. I'll do it to Catherine because it'll annoy Catherine, but you'll find it funny, Kelly.
Okay.
Hey.
Sorry.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
No,
no, sorry, yeah.
Who's there?
Knock knock.
Yeah, I asked.
No, okay, but let's do it again because I'm going to do this in one. I want to just do this in one go. Okay.
Who is it?
No, mate. Come on,
what are you looking for? I've got
She's
a bell.
going to go out soon.
Knock knock.
What?
No, please. Knock knock.
Who is there?
No, please do it properly.
I am doing it properly.
No, it's not who is there. Knock knock.
Who's there?
My panther.
On fire.
No, do it properly, mate,
Your
please.
Your panther what?
No, do it properly. Why are you not doing it properly?
Your panther who?
No. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
My panther.
Your panther?
No, you don't say that. You say my panther who? Knock, knock. Do it properly, please, mate. You've ruined it for Kelly now. She'd have enjoyed this, and you've completely muffed it up. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
My panther.
My panther who?
My panther falling down. Help.
Don't see what I'm going to do about it.
Come and give us a hand.
You want tougher elastic.
That is a good one.
That is a good one, isn't it? And it just annoys me that you can be so snobby about jokes sometimes.
Me?
Because that is a good joke, mate.
Yeah, okay.
And then you go and do that. Why would you ruin that? Got a lot of kids listening today. It's a funny joke. It's just bringing a bit of joy and laughter. There's so much sadness in the world. So many tears in the world. So many people that are ill and stuff. So it's just sad. And we just
all
bring
those
a bit of
people out there who
laughter.
can't find pants that fit. You're laughing at them. Do you think that's fair? How do you like it?
Oh, dearie, dearie me.
Kath's got a good joke.
Hey, go on.
Which one?
The one that your 3-year-old says.
The banana one?
Yep.
Moo!
No.
Oh.
That's interrupting cow.
Oh, yeah.
That is a belter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Why did the banana go to the hospital?
Because... Do I have to do it like this?
No.
Because...
Are you doing an impression of my daughter?
No, I'm not.
3, give her a break. Her diction's very good, actually.
Because she was... because... Do it again.
Why did the banana go to the hospital?
Because it wasn't appealing very well. It wasn't appealing very well. It wasn't appealing
Thanks very
well.
much for ruining it.
Yeah, why did you ruin it,
Why did you have to do that?
Well, because you ruined my panther falling down.
I've got one.
Hey.
Ask me this... Oh, I forgot. Oh, no, ask me the secret. Ask me the secret to comedy.
Any joke that involves you telling someone...
Ask me, what's the secret to...
Timing.
Kath, ask me this... What
Timing.
The secret to comedy is.
Oh, man alive. We should go out less often. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Is there anybody listening who... I could end that sentence there. Is there anybody listening who has been to see 50 Shades of Grey and actually enjoyed it, apart from Justin Dealey?
Did you think it was 50 Shades of Great? Call me now. 08459 455
Wow,
555.
you're desperately trying to save your job after the outing and the thrashing you got in the mail today.
A panther's been sighted in Pitstone and Ivinghoe, says Dave, who knows about this stuff.
Okay.
On the Texas.
Well, we know there is a man-eating, baby-snatching panther on the loose.
No.
Lock up your daughters.
It didn't even go for the woman in the zebra trousers. I think they're pretty safe.
08459 455 555. What's the biggest cat you've seen?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there are queues building up between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road, and it's also looking very slow on the A5 southbound towards the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne from Lynch Hill. On the A1M southbound, it's very slow from junction 3 for South Hatfield towards the M25, and on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's heavy from junction 21A for St Albans towards junction 18 for Chorleywood. On the A1 Great North Road southbound, it's very slow from the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks, and in Cheshunt on the A10 southbound, that's looking very busy between the New River Trading Estate and the M25. No reports of any delays though at the moment on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30 with the headlines. I'm Barry Caffrey. Health bosses have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. Medical staff at Watford General Hospital thought 61-year-old Robert Wilton had a chest infection when in fact he had pneumonia. A prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger killer John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at the Woodhill prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper. Two former foreign secretaries are facing questions over allegations they offered to use their positions as politicians on behalf of a fictitious Chinese company in return for payment. Labour's Jack Straw and the Conservative MP Sir Malcolm Rifkind deny any wrongdoing. Britain's Eddie Redmayne has won the Best Actor prize at the Oscars for his role as Professor Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. He said he was a lucky, lucky man and dedicated his win to people with motor neuron disease. Birdman took 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. And the weather forecast, it will start cold and mainly dry with some sunshine. The winds will strengthen during the day with some scattered showers developing. Highs of 6 Celsius, that's 43 in Fahrenheit.
3 Counties Sports.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
England have beaten Scotland at Cricket's World Cup by 119 runs. Moeen Ali top scored with 128 runs, but Ian Bell hit 54 and Owen Morgan returned to form with 47. The captain says he didn't consider making changes to the team despite 2 heavy defeats.
I've shown faith in the guys who I've selected in the last 2 games. I believe that they are the strongest side at the moment we have available for selection, and I believe that they are good enough to win us games of cricket. So again, going with the same team today, it's a matter of showing confidence in the guys and not to create any panic.
In the Premier League, Liverpool's 2-0 win over Southampton has moved them to within 2 points of the Champions League places. The win at St Mary's came courtesy of goals from Philippe Coutinho and Raheem Sterling. Harry Kane's late goal was enough to earn Tottenham a 2-2 draw in the London derby at home to West Ham. Spurs had been 2-0 down. And Matthew Upson's late own goal denied Leicester City victory as they were held to a 2-2 draw against Everton at Goodison Park. Luton striker Mark Cullen may be close to a move away from the side. He was left out of the squad that lost 3-2 at AFC Wimbledon on Saturday. Hatters manager John Still told BBC 3 Counties Radio that they had received an approach from another club.
Mark's expressed a view that, he'd like to take an opportunity that's come up. We'll talk about it Monday. I didn't think he was in the right frame of mind to play today, but we'll deal with it on Monday. At the end of the day, I only want players who don't want to play for Luton Town, simple as that.
On Saturday, Stevenage were on the right end of a 6-goal thriller as they beat Southend 4-2. Stevenage were losing 2-1 until 20 minutes from the end when young Ben Kennedy came on. Although he scored 1 and created the other 2, manager Graham Westley played down his players' impact.
When a young kid comes in and does all right and nicks a goal here and nicks a goal there and has the odd moment, I think it's rude to ignore the efforts of the team because it's a team game. And, it's great that, a young kid has come in and done his job, but let's keep his feet on the floor,
MK Dons had a good weekend as they won and their closest rivals both lost. The Dons remain second in the table. Watford lost 3-0 against Norwich. Wickham won 3-2 at Carlisle. BBC 3 Counties Radio News and Sport. I'm back with a full bulletin at 8.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
How stinky are you? How dirty are you? That's not connected to 50 Shades of Grey. That is actually women don't shower, it turns out, ever.
I think some men can be quite 70s about hygiene too.
Well, my wife has a bath and then a shower.
Oh.
That's
ridiculous.
That's weird, isn't it? Just washing up.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Is she getting off the suds?
Sorry?
Yes.
So.
Oh, yeah, suds. I thought you said sugs. Sugs from Madness.
No.
You're right, Just.
Hey, boss. How are you?
We're talking about stinky women. We're also talking about 50 Shades of Grey. Now, you genuinely loved it. You loved the, quotes, the psychology of it.
That's correct. Yes, okay. Mr. Brood, yes.
Can I just remind you of what reggae star Carl Malcolm thinks of you?
Okay, go on.
Hey, Justin Dealey, let me tell you something. Hey, Dealer, your career is ending.
That is reggae superstar.
My career is ending. What does that mean? Am I expecting a package today?
Don't diss reggae stars, mate. Don't diss reggae stars. We went out, it was 50 Shades of Mayhem. Thank you to everybody who turned up. I mean, Biggers, Dennis, Lynn, who brought glow sticks to the cinema. Tina.
Tina's friend.
There were those 2 ladies. There were the 3 ladies. I've forgotten everyone's names. Everyone was so delightful.
Yep.
And so the cinema was apart from the grumpy woman in front of us, the cinema was pretty empty, wasn't it?
She found herself in the middle of the mayhem and she hadn't bargained for it. That's the problem.
She bought a ticket for a film, not for an experience.
But you've got to remember, the film came out last weekend, but I thought the cinema, Cineworld in Luton yesterday, had, although there wasn't that many people in there, the atmosphere. You can't watch a film like this on DVD. You've got to be around people to hear their reactions.
I'll be honest, I'd rather not have watched it with colleagues.
Can I just say, you've tweeted a picture of me, you and Dennis, right? And that has been replied by Damon Beasley, one of the creators of The In-Betweeners. He's put a caption for it.
Go on.
We have your grandfather. Don't call the police and await our further instructions. It does look like a terrifying picture.
He does look terrified. It's on Facebook as well. Go and see Dennis what he looks like. And that's the whole reason we got him involved, because all we've heard for the last week or so is we've heard perspectives from ladies saying what they think. We haven't heard a man's perspective, have we? No. I thought the film was brilliant earlier.
Brilliant. You're such an idiot.
No, seriously, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Genuinely good film.
It was slow. It was dull. Everything looked monochrome and grey. It was tedious. There was no humour in it. It was badly acted. It was badly written. Laters, baby.
Look, I haven't read the book. I can't compare it. And if I have one criticism, it was a little bit too long. But apart from that, look at her when she met him. She had absolutely no confidence at all. She had no confidence. She couldn't even string a sentence together. Her life would have changed because of that man.
So what's the moral of the story? All you need is a smack bottom.
No, I thought some of the scenes were a little bit too hardcore, but...
Now listen, we're going to play part 2 of 50 Shades of Mayhem. The first one, it did cross the line. Where are we on this one?
This one's absolutely fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's a few...
Because I am in the Daily Mail today for being massively racist.
Which you're not. Great publicity, though. Yeah, earlier on, a few bleeps. Again, a few bleeps in this particular piece.
Okay.
But here... we're actually in the cinema. There's some speak around the film, and also some speaking in the cinema, and also at the end as well.
Have you got the woman telling us to shut up?
Is that in there? I think she swore, so it's probably not in there.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. We're about 45 minutes into the film. What do you make of it so far?
I've no imagination at all. You know, nothing is moving me. Put it that way.
Boss, what do you make of it so far?
There's not much mayhem in this, if I'm honest. It's a bit slow.
Dennis, we've just seen Christian Grey's Playroom for the first time. What do you think?
I said it's just like my garage, and I wondered why my wife had got one of those whip things.
So, boss, it's over. What do you reckon?
Well, Justin, do you know what? It's interesting. The film has had mixed reviews, I'll be honest. And funny enough, sat through that. It's just over 2 hours long. That was awful.
It was brilliant.
Oh, and by the way, thanks to you and Dennis, the woman in front turned round and had a go at me for talking. And I was going, it wasn't me, it's the old fella.
Yeah.
Dennis, you're adjusting your tie. The film is now over.
He's got the tie on. He's wearing the
I know.
What did you make of it, Den boy?
It was like a Sunday school picnic. You know, they, as I said, rubbish. The girl was too old to start with. He wanted somebody a lot bit younger than that. No, and in my day, I used to say, to get pleasure, you've got to give pleasure, not knock 7 bells out of somebody.
Do you know what? I don't want to know what they got up to during the First World War to make babies. I'm not interested. That film was utter guff.
The First World War. No. One of the kids across the road thought I'd been in the before that. Did I know Nelson? Because I'd been in the Navy. So I said, of course I knew Nelson. I played football with him.
I'm not getting paid to have this conversation with you, and I can't cut you off, so I'm off. Bye-bye.
Where's Biggers? Biggers.
Hello, mate.
All the lads down here are knocking the film.
Yeah.
We are getting the men's perspective. To be honest, what did you make of 50 Shades of Grey?
It's an interesting subject, but I don't know if that's my cup of tea. I did get a bit of pleasure out of it. I liked his chopper, the one he flew to Seattle, that is, yeah? No, but it was different. It was different. I don't know, I'm not a big reader anyway. I think most people will probably say that the book was better, like they do with most films. But yeah, it was worth coming. I enjoyed you lot. It was a great crack, eh?
That was an awful film, man. Did you enjoy it?
Boring, I think.
For goodness sake, you're all wrong. You're all wrong.
Tame, wasn't it?
Right, guys, are we done?
We're done. Can we go home now, please?
Okay. Kath, what are you doing here?
I'm not here.
Kath snuck in.
She
She gets
did.
rocked up. She gets rocked up, and we asked the cinema not to allow her in, and they wouldn't. They said, well, it's nothing to do with us.
He's wearing a beard. He's wearing a beard. It gets him every time.
Oh, Justin, no, really poor. Are you going to go and see the second one then?
I'm going to go and watch that one again.
Well, let us know how it goes.
I
You're going
don't
to go
get-
watch that one again?
Yeah, I don't get your beef. You see, you've got this opinion. If you put it out this morning, if you're not a prude, you would enjoy that film. You seem to have beef. I don't think this is your genuine opinion. I think you're trying to impress people this morning.
mate.
Just be honest. Open up. Come on, do it.
Mate,
Who are you going to take your girlfriend to see that?
Well, why not? Guys, seriously.
You
2015.
I know. What's the year got to do with it? What's the year got to do with whether a film is good or not?
I just think your opinions are very, very strange. Come on, very, very
You
odd.
kiss your mother with that mouth.
Thank you, Justin.
Cheers, boss.
We're going to speak to you in the last hour?
Yes, about ladies not showering.
Okay, excellent stuff. Thank you.
Cheers.
Ta-ta. Any texts?
Yeah, well, and I've got some tweets as well.
Okay, go on.
We're asking how big is your cat because Pat's wife and mother-in-law, sister-in-law reckon they saw a big cat in
Yep.
Streatley.
Yep.
So we're asking how big is your cat?
Yep.
Scoins, small one.
Yep.
You've got an average.
Yep.
And Thomas Mansell on Twitter says his is the size of a small fox or a tiny, tiny horse.
Okay.
How big is your cat? 08459 455 555.
Now, listen, we all went to the cinema last night. I noticed there was one person missing.
Yeah. Yeah, there was.
Laura?
Hello.
What the hell happened last night? We were stood there going, well, where's Laura?
Hello. I tell you what, all last week I missed you. Do you know why?
You in prison?
Children on half term and I was laying in bed.
Oh, Laura.
I wasn't getting up till like you finished everything.
How old are your kids? Because my kids won't let me lie in bed. There's a 6 o'clock wake-up call whether I like it or not, and I don't like it.
8 and 10, but then you have things called Xboxes and iPads and things like that.
Sedation.
No. I couldn't give a monkeys about this.
You all last week.
I don't care.
That was on.
You knew it was on. You came on air. You begged to be part of the posse.
You know
we
what?
allowed you to, and then you didn't even bother turning up.
I went with some ladies.
Oh, did you? What did you reckon?
Oh, well, it wasn't as steamy as the book.
No.
It wasn't, and she's a very pretty girl. You saw a lot of her.
Yeah. Not as much of him.
Why did she never have a vest on?
Prettiness, sorry.
Why did she never have a vest on?
Never. It was all her, wasn't it?
It was. He was very pretty, wasn't he?
She was too ribby. There were too many ribs on display.
She needs to have a few burgers, doesn't she?
Yeah, she certainly does. Did you enjoy it then? Oh.
Well, it was more romantic than the book. The book was more explicit, I think. This was aiming to be more romantic, but it was just funny when I think they tried to make it a bit comical as well. There was times when everyone was sort of laughing. And
yeah, but where was the comedy?
And everyone's like, "Oh, here we go! he's gonna open the door." And she goes, "Oh, what is it?" He goes, "This is my room of fun." And she goes, "What, your Xbox and stuff?" And he was like, everyone in the audience giggling.
Yeah, we did laugh at that one.
It was going for the it was going for a bit of.
At certain points, though, he looked like he was having trouble walking, didn't he? You know, remembering how to act like someone who was walking.
Laura, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are you rolling your eyes at me?
No.
You biting that bottom lip? Thank you very much indeed. Someone who bites their bottom lip all the time is Biggers. Morning, Biggers.
Hello, Kelly. Hello, Catherine.
Hey! Biggers has got a girlfriend. Her name is Kelly Betts. They sat next to each other last night. They kissed a lot. Kelly couldn't stop talking about you. Kelly couldn't stop talking about you. She thought you were weird. I'm joking. How are you, Biggers? You all right? That was a stinky film, wasn't it?
I don't know, we're going to have a red conversation or a yellow conversation on this.
We are going to have a very green conversation on this.
Weird film, yeah, it was a bit strange, mate. I did enjoy it, though, because it's looking at another side of life, so I've got a certain amount of respect for Justin's opinion. Wasn't completely boring, full stop, you know. It was watchable, like the other bloke said that contacted you earlier on.
It was. I just found it so dark. I can sit through any old rubbish.
Can I just say, though, Ian, what a great, fantastic bunch of people you are. You really are fun to be with.
I like that you're saying that as though we just raised loads of money for charity. We didn't. We went and watched a mucky film together.
No, it was a bit of the popcorn and the sweet fight, mate. I think.
We did have a good sweetie fight. Why did Lynn bring glow stick? You can't bring glow sticks to the cinema. That was weird, wasn't it? She was delightful, but bonkers.
That's it. I just popped down to the toilet, and you can see my arm waving backwards and forwards as I'm walking down the steps. Right?
Biggers, listen, it was nice to meet you. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who came. And thank you to Lynn for bringing glow sticks. It was...
nice touch.
We're talking about the film again?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A1M southbound is looking very slow now on the speed sensors between junction 3 for South Hatfield and the M25. Also on the M25, it's very busy from junction 21 for the M1 to 16 for the M40, and the M1 southbound has queues building up from junction 12 for Flitwick towards 11 for Dunstable Road. Also looking very busy on the approach to the junction 9 for Redbourne on the A5 southbound from Lynch Hill. On the A1 Great North Road, that's very busy through the roadworks from the St Neots junction towards the Black Cat roundabout, and on the trains there's no reports of any major delays at the moment. Samantha Burrough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 7:46, Monday the 23rd of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The West Herts Hospital's NHS Trust has had to apologise after a man had his life cut short because of a misdiagnosis at Watford General Hospital. And a prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger killer John Venables. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Or you can send us a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. A bright start across all three counties, but just noticing one or two showers working their way into parts of Buckinghamshire at the moment, and they are on a kind of easterly journey, so most places likely to see one or two showers in the next hour or so. Some quite heavy ones mixed in. They're going to come and go through the course of the day, but we will have some sunshine between them. Strengthening southwesterly breeze and a maximum temperature of 6 Celsius. Now, clear at first tonight and dry at first, so we're going to get our coldest temperature at the beginning of the night. Some places could see a sparkle or two of frost, but further showers likely to develop as we head further through the night into tomorrow morning. The minimum temperature down to 1 Celsius. For Tuesday, it is a drier day. There's more in the way of sunshine. Still pretty windy though, a northwesterly breeze, so it is going to feel chilly throughout Tuesday. A maximum temperature of 7 Celsius, and that's your forecast.
On Wednesday, I'm continuing my series of hot seats on the JVS show.
If you're going to build an incinerator, why would you build it in a town that's struggling to get itself refurbished and back in the game, like Hatfield?
Conservative Party chairman and MP for Welwyn Hatfield, Grant Shapps, takes his place in the chair.
I can rule out we're not going to do pacts and deals with UKIP.
And you can put your question to him right now. Email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk or text on 81333. Start your text with 3CR.
The people that I'd really like to hear from are the people using the NHS.
Grant Shapps in the JVS hot seat. Wednesday morning from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
You right in there, girls?
Yeah, we've had a text message through from Kelly's cousin.
Oh, yeah, she's all right.
Yeah.
What's
I
wrong?
don't know what the family nickname is for her, but I'm not going to reveal it.
Oh, is it rude?
It's not very nice. Hey, you guys. Goonies fan, obviously. My boyfriend forgot his work boots this morning, so I had to take him in. The upside, I get to listen to the show. I love it, especially Kelly Betts.
What?
And can all Panther owners please check their cages? That's from Christine.
Flippin' heck.
Tony reckons he hasn't washed since last Sunday, yesterday. Man, I feel like a woman.
What?
Yeah, saying that he's not had a bath this morning.
OK, well, thank you.
We're asking people, aren't we? How filthy they are.
Yeah, we are. We certainly are, and we'll continue doing that in a bit. Now, here's a story. A family from Wheathampstead have been left with £100,000 worth of damage to their home after a hit-and-run driver drove into the wall of their house. And, hey, guess what the police have said? It's not a crime, it's an incident. Well, the homeowner, Janine Oxley, is... Well, I'd imagine you're furious, Janine.
I'm upset and I'm quite angry that it's not a crime because failing to stop is a crime under the Road Traffic Act. So, yeah, I'm pretty angry about it.
Janine, your phone is going in and out. Is it? Can you kind of stand still? Is that all right? Sorry, it's just...
I was sitting
there we go.
still.
There we go. Perfect. We got you now. So when did this happen? Take us through what happened.
It happened on the 30th of December, so We'd just gone out for the day. We came back at 4 o'clock to find a big hole in the wall.
Flippin' heck. And when you say a big hole, describe what it looked like.
It's quite hard to describe, really, because there's a crack along the wall which stretches about 3 metres. There's a hole which is, you could easily put your head in if you really wanted to, but you wouldn't because it might fall down on you.
And what room is it going into?
It's going into, luckily, a store cupboard for us, where we use the storage area where we put everything, because otherwise it would be in the main house.
So that must have been quite a shock, and to come home and see that. That's putting it mildly.
A real shock, yes.
So what do you do?
You don't expect it.
What do you do when you come home? I'm assuming, what, did you call the police straight away? What happened?
Yes. My husband called the police while I went round to local neighbours and canvassed if anyone saw anything, because it was 2:30 in the afternoon, so you expect someone to see something. The police said that they'd be out as soon as they could, and when my husband pushed them, they said, probably within 3 hours.
Flippin'
At 8 o'clock that night, when we phoned them, they still weren't out. So I asked when they're coming, we'll try and make it out. And then later on when we phoned them, they wouldn't make it that day, but they'll make it at shift change in the morning. And then they still didn't arrive, so we phoned them the next morning again about 10 past, 20 past 8, and they finally turned up about 8:30.
That's incredible.
Yes.
And when the police finally rocked up, what did they say?
They looked a bit shocked and sort of, we didn't quite realise it was as serious as this. Well, there's a big hole in the wall, you know. We did explain that. We explained that it was structurally unsafe when we called them, and was it okay to prop it up to make sure it didn't fall down. And they were just like, okay. And then we were told later it would go to the collisions team, but it was never a crime, it's an incident.
Now, this is the thing I don't get, Janine, and I'm guessing you're scratching your head as well. Why are they saying it's not a crime?
Because I don't really know their full reasoning. They're saying it's a incident because it was a collision. Yes, it was a collision, but then there was failure to stop. And failure to stop, if you leave the scene of an accident, as far as I was concerned, is a crime. You know, you can go, but you can go to court for it, and you can go to prison for it. So, why is it not a crime?
So, are they going to do nothing then?
No, we received confirmation from them that they'd given up looking. They'd looked on CCTV and they'd looked on the ANPR. Apparently, that was only after me chasing them. So. They've given up.
That's incredible. Did any neighbours see anything?
A neighbour saw that it was a old silver BMW, and then we saw someone else who said that actually they saw that it was a 3 Series BMW, and the neighbour had said that it ends in an R edge. So, you know, we've narrowed down quite a lot for them.
And also, I know BMWs are built like tanks, but it's going to have, I would imagine, quite a bit of damage. It's just driven into a house.
Well, we found the front, a section of the front number plate, and so it obviously drove in forwards, which makes it even worse. And there was a big half barrel of flowers in front of the wall, so they'd managed to lift that up as well and push that against the wall. So they must have been going at some speed.
Well, you know, if anybody that saw anything or, you know, works in a garage and one of these cars comes in with this kind of damage, 08459 455 555. I'm hoping you've got buildings insurance, and I'm hoping it's going to cover it.
We only found out just over a week ago that they are going to cover it.
Hey.
We do have buildings insurance.
Thank goodness for that.
But it's taken that long.
Yeah.
And we have to go through planning permission to rebuild it because it's a listed building. So we should be done by September.
Oh, blimey. And is the house safe to be in?
Yes, because it was an old outbuilding.
Right, okay.
So it's not it is part of the main house and it's connected to the main house, but it's not structurally part of the main house, but that's not structurally safe, really.
Janine, will you keep us informed if anything turns up, you know, if they get the idiot that did this or if the police say anything else?
Of course.
Brilliant. Well, listen, best of luck. What an incredible story. Well done for having buildings insurance. Buildings insurance is a real punt. It's a gamble, isn't it? You're kind of having a bet, really. But boy, oh boy, it pays off for something like that, obviously. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. There's a statement from Herts Police. Shall I read a bit of it? I don't really.
Yeah.
The Herts Police say, we follow the National Crime Recording Standard guidelines, which are set by the government and not the police. Here we go, politics. Therefore, it's the government who determine what is a recordable crime, not the police. Police have taken statements, examined the evidence and will continue to investigate, and if the driver is identified, they will be brought to justice.
But they told Janine that they weren't looking for anyone anymore.
Flippin' heck. I mean, what do you think, dear listener? Is that the kind of thing that you would expect or hope the police to investigate? 08459 455 555. My knee-jerk reaction is yes. I'm thinking about it. It's still a yes from me, really. Someone smashes into your house, then drives off. Yeah, I would expect the police to investigate that. Is there anybody that thinks that, no, well, the police, they should be out solving real crimes? You know, I don't know. 08459 455 555.
I guess some people will think that because insurance will cover it, then it's wasted resources trying to apprehend the person who did it.
Well, this bloke's obviously, I'm assuming it's a bloke, is obviously a menace and should be taken off the streets by the Equaliser.
That's your thought on that, is it?
You know,
Edward Woodward.
Everyone's... it's not Edward Woodward anymore.
Who is it now?
It's...
Edward Woodward was the best one.
He was the best one, but there's some other fella now.
Uh-huh.
Someone else doing it, you know.
Is it Idris Elba?
Oh, Idris Elba, it better not be.
I think Idris Elba's good.
He's rubbish.
No, he's good.
Everybody's frothing at the mouth because Mick Jagger is going out with a 28-year-old girl.
Like it's a novelty.
That's what Mick Jagger does. He's flipping heck. He's 77 years old. Model Alicia Roundtree, 28, couldn't wait to tell the world about meeting the 77-year-old Rolling Stone singer Rihanna's 27th birthday party.
Can someone explain the allure of Mick Jagger to me? Because to me, it looks like a knuckle. I know he's loaded. He's probably fun. But, you know...
Well, I don't get the Stones on any level. I think they're an atrociously overrated
They all look
band.
like knuckles, actually, don't they?
Oh, they're all... if you've ever seen a Rolling Stone up close, as I have, only Ronnie Wood, who's not proper Rolling Stone, they're just so wrinkly. But they're smooth skin. They obviously moisturise a lot, but it's very, very wrinkly.
Well, they say you get the face you deserve, don't they?
Well, yeah. 08459 455 555.
People who look like knuckles, call me now.
And then there's, you know, those racist thugs on the underground, the French underground?
Yes.
Well, now a copper's saying ban racist fans from watching Sky Sports. Well, how are you going to do that?
Just ask him on the way in.
Racist football thugs should miss out on live matches at home by losing their sports channel subscriptions, a top police officer said yesterday. What? That's insane.
So if they get arrested for it, is that what they're saying? If they get found guilty of it, then they're not allowed to watch football.
But I don't understand. I don't understand. Adrian Hanstock, Deputy Chief Constable, wants Sky TV and BT Sport to withdraw services from any yobs convicted of racism. He told BBC Radio 5 Live, hey, that's us. If their subscription TV was cancelled, it might put some thoughts in their mind. Well, it's not up to Sky.
What, you think they'll start reading books?
Flip, you can't put it on Sky's shoulders to patrol and punish racists.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 northbound, a minibus has broken down at junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead. That's causing it to be very busy. The M11 northbound's very slow around junction 8 for Bishop Stortford because of an accident earlier. And on the M40 towards London, it's very slow from junction 5 for Stokenchurch to 4 for the High Wycombe Handy Cross roundabout. Into High Wycombe on Amersham Hill on the A404, that's looking very slow. Also in Stevenage on Valley Way, that's been partially blocked by an accident around Pear Tree Way. So police are there redirecting the traffic. No reports of any delays though on the trains. Samantha Burrough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Also, he'll just go to his mates to watch it, won't he? Or the pub or something, or his sons. His son's probably got Sky Sports. Unbelievable.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Barry Caffrey. The headlines: misdiagnosis at Watford General Hospital, Oscar for Imitation Game, and England's cricketers have beaten Scotland in the World Cup.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Watford General Hospital has apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man after a misdiagnosis led to his death. Staff thought 61-year-old Robert Wilton had a chest infection when in fact he had pneumonia. An internal investigation has revealed a catalogue of errors were made by staff treating him in May last year. Paul Sankey is a clinical and medical negligence solicitor at Slater & Gordon. He explains how the National Early Warning Score system works.
The whole point about this is it's a bit like indicator lights on a car when something is going wrong. You might have the amber light that tells you that there's a problem. It may not need to be dealt with immediately, but you need to keep an eye on it. And there's the red, which tells you that you're into the serious danger zone. Now, if you ignore that, the results can be potentially catastrophic.
The sentencing will take place today of a Milton Keynes prison officer who sold information about James Bulger's killer, John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Woodhill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper. Juliette Lyon is the director of the Prison Reform Trust. She says prison officers should be respecting all inmates regardless of the crime they committed.
Everybody has rights. I mean, obviously, if there's a terrible case, it's all publicised and we all hear about it or read about it. But when you're looking after somebody in prison, you have to look after them with respect, regardless of what they've done. And it means that the job is very, very difficult.
Two former foreign secretaries, one Labour, one Conservative, are embroiled in a new cash for access row. Jack Straw and Sir Malcolm Rifkind have been filmed in an undercover investigation by the Daily Telegraph and Channel 4's Dispatches programme, apparently offering to use their positions and contacts to benefit a private company in return for payments of thousands of pounds. Both strongly deny any wrongdoing and have referred themselves to the Commissioner for Parliamentary Standards. A family from Wheat Hampstead have been left with £100,000 worth of damage to their home after a hit-and-run driver drove into the wall of their house. The police have told them what happened is not a crime but an incident. Janine Oxley owns the home and says she's very frustrated.
They looked a bit shocked and sort of, oh, well, we didn't quite realise it was as serious as this. Well, there's a big hole in the wall, you know. We did explain that. We explained that it was structurally unsafe when we called them, and was it okay to prop it up to make sure it didn't fall down. And they were just like, yeah, okay. And then we were told later it would go to the collisions team, but it was never a crime, it's an incident.
Eddie Redmayne has won the Best Actor prize at the Oscars for his role as Professor Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. He said he was a lucky, lucky man and dedicated his win to people with motor neuron disease. The British film The Imitation Game, based on events that happened at Buckinghamshire's Bletchley Park during World War II, has won the Best Adapted Screenplay Oscar. There was also a British win in the Best Live Action Short Film category for The Phone Call. England's cricketers have beaten Scotland by 119 runs in their Pool A match at the World Cup in New Zealand. It's England's first win in the tournament, chasing England's 303 for 8. Scotland were dismissed for 184 in the 43rd over. And the weather forecast, it will start cold and mainly dry with some sunshine. The winds will strengthen during the day with some scattered showers developing. Some of the showers could be heavy and wintry. Highs of 6 Celsius, that's 43 in Fahrenheit. BBC Three Counties Radio News. I'm back with headlines and a full sports bulletin at 8:30.
Thank you, Barry. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Well, it's a mixed bunch. We've got light and indeed shade. We'll come to the shade in a second. An incredible story about a series of mistakes made at a local hospital again. Also, we went to see 50 Shades of Yawn last night. It was so tedious. And 4 out of 5 women don't shower every day. What's the longest you've gone without having a wash or even a wipe?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
We're all flagging.
5 days.
Sorry?
5 days.
Hey. We're all... I wear jeans for about 4 weeks. That's not even an
Until they
exaggeration.
walk themselves to the
Yeah,
machine.
I need to buy some new jeans. I'm going to have a little jean reshuffle this
Are you?
week because I always have 3 pairs of jeans. Got my nice jeans, my medium jeans that can get away with nice, and my gardening jeans.
Right. You don't
well,
garden.
Well, yeah, if that's what all right, cleaning out the rabbit hutch jeans. The medium jeans have now developed a tear, which means they're going to become the cleaning out the rabbit hutch jeans.
Mm-hmm.
The current cleaning out the rabbit hutch. See, gardening was easier to say. The current cleaning out the rabbit hutch jeans, they're going to go in the bin. So
You could make some nice cut-offs.
these are now the top jeans, so they get downgraded to the middle
summer.
jeans. Please, and so I need
now
to buy.
you need to buy new jeans.
Thank you,
get
mate.
it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, good luck with that. Enjoy.
Everyone's got to have a system.
Mm.
That's my system. If you've got a clothing system, 08459 455 555. Maybe you have one with your T-shirts.
I've thrown out my decorating clothes. Decorate like once every 10 years. What's the point?
Well,
I bought some of those overalls last time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, paper ones.
Oh.
They're not very...
Paper?
Yeah, they're sort of paper, aren't they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not working in a meth factory, are you?
No, I was painting.
Why don't you get some nice dungers?
I had dungers when I was preggers, but
They're
I don't
back
wear
in
them.
fash now.
Yeah.
Back
no,
in fash.
No.
I'm back in fashion.
Anyway, yeah, so I had these like paper overall things.
Back in fash.
So I rustled when I walked.
John Fashion New is back in fash.
Good story,
John
eh?
Fashion New is back in fash. John Fashion New is back in fash. John Fashion New is back in fash. Yes, he is. John Fashion New is back in fash. I can't sing it. That's the best song we've ever written. It's like when the Beatles wrote Sgt. Pepper. I bet they couldn't. They had to stop singing it because they went, "This is just too good." Fellas, this is too good. Let's go and have a cup of tea. 08459 455 555. Now here's it's a terrible story. The West Herts Hospital's NHS Trust has had to apologise again for failing a patient and their family. There've been a few incidents recently where they've had to come out and say, "Sorry, we messed up," and this is. Pretty poor. Remember, we had the family, the daughter, wasn't it, of an elderly man who sat on a cushion that was covered in another patient's filth, amongst other misdemeanours. Then there was the family that were told that their dad had died. He hadn't. He was still alive. Well, in this latest case, 61-year-old Robert Wilton's life was cut short after he was misdiagnosed with a chest infection. Well, we can speak to Mr. Wilton's sister, Judith Penrose. Now, morning, Judith.
Morning.
What was Robert like?
He was amazing. He was always joking about something. There was very rarely any incident in life that he took, without a joke behind it. He was a keen cyclist. He cycled about 60 miles a week.
Oh, blimey.
He was known through his colleagues, etc., at the post office as being a constant whistler. I think, knowing Robert as we all did, a lot of that was because the more he thought that would wind somebody up.
Yeah, he was doing it to annoy people. Good for him.
Yeah, he was. He was. A lot of people knew Robert. He was an amazing brother. He was an amazing son to our now also sadly passed mum and dad.
Oh,
and,
I'm sorry.
An amazing father to his 3 adult children, and a wow granddad to his 4 amazing grandchildren.
What happened? What went wrong with him? Why did he get poorly?
There was no background to this. Robert hadn't, to the best of our knowledge, really ever suffered from a chest infection or anything really like that. On the evening of the 23rd of May, he had breathing difficulties. He telephoned his oldest daughter. His daughters live very close to where he lived, and she immediately drove to him, literally minutes away, called an ambulance, and the paramedics obviously came quite quickly, did the necessary, took him to Watford Hospital. This was about 11:30 on a Friday night. He was assessed and taken to A&E Resus, which the ensuing investigation report actually classes that 2 of the safe places in Watford General Hospital are the A&E Resus department and the intensive care unit. So as far as we were concerned, Robert was there, and he was assessed. He was put onto oxygen. At this stage, although his breathing was obviously laboured, he was still talking to us. He was still being his his usual jokey self, and we were conversing with him, albeit clearly he needed the oxygen, etc. The night, looking back on it, and at the time, was really quite surreal. It seemed that the registrar was sort of more concerned. He had problems getting a cannula in, and Robert's daughter very politely said perhaps a fresh pair of eyes. He immediately reeled off his qualification.
Oh, one of those, okay, yeah.
Very, very strange. The senior sister on the ward, I obviously could see Robert was getting distressed and, very close. I was struggling, and I didn't want him seeing me being upset that he was struggling with that, so went on the other side of the curtain and was immediately accosted by the senior sister asking me what I was doing, and I said, well, I'm here with my brother, and she said, well, you shouldn't be, and I said, sorry, what's the problem? And she said, I'm in charge. So it was very much one of those evenings. So unsurprisingly, really, things that should have been done weren't being done. The investigation, the serious incident investigation report at the end concludes that the root cause states it was failure to recognise an acutely ill patient due to lack of knowledge, skills, accountability and leadership supervision. And that is what they've put down to the loss of Robert. Now, that's unacceptable.
It is. The lack of skills and knowledge in particular seems incredible to me. This is a horrible question, but I'm just going to have to ask it. How long had he been in the hospital before he died? What was the length of time from him going in and Robert passing?
6 hours. Every sign was there to somebody who was medically trained. Again, the news charts, which has obviously been discussed already this morning, we've got copies of that in all of Robert's medical records. It shows what the clinical response to the news chart should be.
Now, for those who don't know, the news chart, that's kind of a system, the National Early Warning Score, and it's just kind of like a checklist, isn't it, of things that people need to follow and what they should be doing, and this was ignored.
It was used incorrectly,
right,
which turns out that the staff clearly were not correctly trained, qualified or skilled in using it. Now, this is a national recognised scoring system. So this isn't something that's just arrived in the NHS. This is something which is there and nationally used. For an example, the news score goes from a score of 0 to 6 or more. So that gives you some indication. It's a rising scale of the higher the number, the worse the condition of the patient. The investigation report shows that on 5 occasions during this investigation it was shown and proven that 5 occasions the score was incorrectly taken. When Robert was by the registrar approved to be moved outside of one of the so-called safe areas, i.e. the resus, and put onto a ward, Robert's score was 10. Now, 6 or more requires an emergency assessment by a clinical team, who are qualified in the assessment of critically ill patients. On interview, the registrar in question said, yes, he was happy for the patient to be moved. In hindsight, however, he could see how sick the patient was. This is no comfort to us. At the end of the day, we're not a third world country. We are lucky, if I can use that word, in the UK to have this. The tools and equipment were there for these staff members to use. On investigation, it was asked, why did you not use the sepsis bundle, which again, reference has been made this morning to sepsis, to identify that it has gone through to an infection. The registrar said that he didn't use it because he felt that the care given was okay. The care given wasn't necessary to use the tool. Again, on hindsight, he could see how sick the patient was and the tool should have been used.
Judith, listen, the time is against us and we have to move on. Will you keep in touch with us? I know it's going to an external investigation. Would you keep in touch and let us know how that goes?
Yes, of course.
Really sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Oh, dearie me. That's Judith Penrose talking about her brother, Robert Wilton, who passed away 6 hours in the hospital. And there were it's just a load of cock-ups. 08459 455 555. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Stevenage, Valley Way is partially blocked by an accident at Pear Tree Way, so police are there redirecting the traffic. The A1 Great North Road's very slow southbound from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout with the roadworks there. And in Denham on the A40 Western Avenue, that's very busy towards the M25 from the Denham roundabout. On the motorways on the M11 northbound, it's very slow after an accident earlier around Junction 8 for Bishop Stortford. The M1 northbound has all reopened now at Junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead after a minibus broke down there. And looking at the M25 anti-clockwise, there are queues building up between Junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. No major delays showing up though for the train departure boards. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha Bruff. Excellent stuff as always. 8:15, Monday the 23rd of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Health bosses at Watford General Hospital have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. And a family from Wheathampstead have been left with £100,000 worth of damage to their home after a hit-and-run driver drove into the wall of their house.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning.
Good morning.
You all right?
Yes, very well, thanks. How are you?
Tired.
You look a bit tired. Was it all this 50 Shades of Mayhem?
Well, it was. We had a lot of fun. A lot of classic bands between me,
Did you?
Dealey, Dennis, Lynn, Biggers, and some other people that turned up whose names escape me. Boyley. Tina was there. Yes, you keep saying Tina, but you don't remember anybody else. You shouldn't have even been there.
Joan, Gracie.
You can't just make names up now.
Pamela.
You shouldn't have been there.
Well, I was there.
And now
I
you
wish
were-
I hadn't been.
Yeah, it was such a boring film.
But I could have told you that.
You couldn't.
Well, I could have done.
You couldn't.
The writing was all over the wall.
Do you remember the sizzling sexual
Have you read the
chemistry?
book?
What?
Have you read the book?
No, of course I have.
How do you know the writing was all over the wall?
Well, it's just... it was inevitably going to be rubbish, wasn't it?
Oh, you mean the writing was on the wall? That's the saying. Isn't it?
yes,
Yeah, sorry, you got the saying wrong.
Jonathan,
Okay.
do you remember the sizzling sexual chemistry of Gear and Foster in Somersby?
Yes.
Yeah. It was worse than that.
It was so tedious, and we got told off for being too noisy. It wasn't me. It was Dennis, a 90-year-old man who, when the fun room pops up, he went, "Oh, it looks like my garage." And this woman turned around and said, "Right, will you shut up? I've paid good money for this." I said, "It's not me. It's this fella, this old fella." "No, it's all of you." I said, I wasn't saying. Don't ever go at me.
I'm with her.
It wasn't me.
I hate people like you lot.
We had glow sticks. Someone brought glow sticks. Lynn brought glow sticks with her.
You're the reason why I don't like going to the cinema.
Oh, I'm so pleased. My work here is done.
I normally have to lean over to the people in front and just put my head between their shoulders and say...
What? Between their shoulders?
Yeah. Will you shut up?
Put your head there on their chest.
No, between two people's shoulders.
Oh, I agree. I
Being
don't
very
like
facetious this morning.
I don't like people talking in the cinema either, and so I was getting a bit embarrassed that they were all. And Justin was like interviewing people while the film's on, but it was such a bad film. I would have been grateful for any relief.
Right.
During the that's your microphone. That's my microphone gone. Honestly, probably best I do tell me. Have you seen I'm in the papers today?
I've seen, yeah.
Controversial stuff, huh? Man plays something he shouldn't play, then apologises immediately after. There's your story, guys.
Yes.
Dearie me.
Will heads roll because of that?
Well, Catherine, as you see, Catherine gets roundly thrashed in that
I've
story.
seen Catherine is mentioned.
Yeah. Producer's fault.
Well, surely, if anyone's going to get the sack, it would be Catherine because of that. Yeah.
He's hoping.
By the way,
they won't let you go.
Well, you had the Sun Has Got His Hat On man on your show.
Yes.
Do you want me to come on as a guest and talk about the trauma I've experienced?
We could do it. Well, I don't know. It depends. If the BBC get rid of you, then yes, we will.
Okay. Well, they offered him his job back, mate, so that's unfair.
Yes, but if they try to get rid of you, and then backtrack, and you say no, you can stick it. Then we'll get you on.
It's a very specific scenario. You don't just want to get me on because I've been traumatised by it.
And we'll ask the question: should Three Counties give Iain Lee his job back?
Don't dare ask that question because I suspect I know what most of your listeners would say.
Oh, we should try.
No, we shouldn't.
Perhaps we could try it without you.
Thanks very much indeed. Let's put it to the vote. What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the Big Phone in this morning, do all pensioners deserve the winter fuel allowance and a free bus pass? David Cameron will announce today that if the Conservatives win the election in May, pensioners will keep their bus passes, TV licences and the winter fuel allowance. He'll argue they're not luxuries. They're just things that pensioners deserve to have.
I wonder why he's saying that near an election.
That's the word he's going to use. The Conservatives are likely to receive criticism that they're serving older voters whilst younger people bear the brunt of cuts designed to reduce the deficit. Andrew Holdenby from the think tank Reform has told the BBC that this policy commitment puts welfare in the hands of people who don't need it. Would you agree? From 9 this morning, we'll debate this. Do all pensioners deserve the winter fuel allowance and free bus pass? Call on 08459 455 555.
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Do we really need public libraries anymore? Tell us what you think this morning.
Get behind your local station and help crack these clues. Let's see who can find the treasure first.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
What a show today. We go back to the 70s for our chart rundown.
So when did you start making music?
About 2 years ago, I started recording on my brother's 8-track.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
You held a service in a vodka bar this week, is that right?
The OJ's Extraordinary Girl. Isn't that a terrific sound? Completing the menu today, a lovely coq au vin and rhubarb and custard on toast topped with a meringue.
I don't want anyone messing with my brain if they don't understand how it works.
Last year, the IPCC dropped an investigation into your conduct.
Black and minority students must get better results than their white peers in order to get into university.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
I've worked out why that Nick Coffer's bit in that sits uncomfortably with me, and it's not the rhubarb. I like a bit of rhubarb. He doesn't say coq au vin. He says cockle van. He says cockle.
Maybe it is a van selling cockles.
It could be.
That's what.
Do they still have? They used to have this when I used to drink in pubs.
Yeah.
On a Friday night, 10:30. The fish man would turn up. The fish man would turn up. White coat. Fish. No. Why would I want fish? I'm having a pint.
You would say no. You'd have jars of cockles, jars of mussels,
But you had little
fresh prawns.
Yeah.
Like a little tray in front of him. Like,
Isn't that a weird thing? But yeah, a little tray. He had like a little tray, like a woman in a cinema in the olden days.
Yes.
An usherette.
Thank you. Fish. No, I want
everyone would be
fish.
like, yes, the fish man.
Here comes the fish. Is the fish man coming tonight?
It's so men could say that they've been out doing the shopping.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Well, the wife thinks he's just out there in a good time, so he's just showing her that he's being useful as well, and he's sorted out tomorrow's supper.
No. It wasn't to take home.
No, it was to eat there.
It was to eat there. So you get like a little paper, you get a little a polystyrene pot of cockles.
And a little fork.
A little fork like you get from a chippy.
Yeah.
You'd be having a pint, and your mate would be, do you want a winkle? No, thanks.
They always look really wizened, didn't they? The ones in the pot.
I used to work in a pub, and I couldn't wait for 10:30. Fishman.
Tell us your fishman stories, please. 08459 455 555.
We're also asking, how big is your cat?
And we got any answers to that?
Pat's wife saw a big cat, and we're talking panther.
Yeah.
So, how big is your cat? 08459 455 555. That's the last half hour sorted out.
Excellent stuff indeed. Now, on to perhaps slightly more serious issues. A prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger killer John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Wood Hill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper. Well, Paul Connew is from St Albans, former editor of the Sunday Mirror, also was deputy editor of the Mirror and the News of the World. Now works... You work in PR, Paul, now, am I right?
And a media commentator. Commentator and advisor as well.
Excellent stuff. What's your reaction to this story?
I'm sure strictly under the terms of the law that that he is guilty. But I think what we're seeing at the moment going through the courts, we have to be very careful here because there are some other ongoing trials or trials to be held. But I think what we're seeing here is a mixture, because the majority of journalists who have faced prosecution have either been acquitted or are facing retrials after juries failed to agree. And I think what one's sensing here is that juries may have a different idea or interpretation of what constitutes the public interest than perhaps the Crown Prosecution Service, the police, and the establishment generally. And so it's a very, very interesting and finely balanced topic, I think.
What would be the public interest in knowing what John Venables got up to in prison?
I think, without knowing the particular full details of this prison officer's case, but knowing the Venables pattern generally, I think a lot of the public do feel, and after all, juries are members of the public, and they hear the arguments of both the prosecution and the defence and the judges summing up, but they have to look at it and think, well, in some ways, is this a story that I feel is in the public interest and I was entitled to know about? Now, the jury system is a fine system, but some juries, reach one conclusion, some juries reach another, and I think we've had throughout the whole issue of press freedom, etc., the whole issue of what constitutes the public interest. It's an elusive butterfly to actually define, and in some ways, one person's public interest is not somebody else's. But but the courts at the moment are almost choked up with either current or pending cases or retrials of journalists and public officials.
Once someone's been sent to prison and they are being punished for the crime, aren't they entitled to privacy?
It depends what it is. That's the whole issue. It's the whole issue. You go back to what constitutes the public interest, and that definition is so tricky that it's testing the legal system at the moment in terms of prosecution cases, defence counter-arguments, judges summing up, and ultimately, unless someone pleads guilty, ultimately, the jury's view of the evidence, and that evidence obviously has to include evaluating public interest defence arguments put forward by defence barristers.
Paul, in your time working for the papers, did you ever pay or know about payments to public officials for information?
Very, very rarely did I in any way sanction it, but there have been some occasions. And for example, and this is probably the most spectacular example of recent times, the Daily Telegraph broke the law technically to expose the MP's expenses scandal. The first reaction of politicians was to demand the prosecution of the Daily Telegraph. It was only after a few days when they realised the extent of public fury that they backed away from that, and of course subsequently certain MPs lost their jobs and in some cases lost their liberty. So I think, and would I have paid a public official, for the proof of the MP's expenses scandal? Yes, I would. Would I, one of the biggest frustrations of my career was being legally thwarted from exposing Jimmy Savile back in 1994. If I'd been able to clinch that one by paying a public official who had key information, yes, I would have paid it.
Paul, it's always interesting talking to you. Thank you very much. Paul Connew from St Albans, media commentator and former editor of, the Sunday Mirror, deputy editor of The Mirror and the News of the World back in the day. Paul, thank you very much. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Milton Keynes, looking at the speed sensors, the A421 standing way is very busy on the approaches to the Kingston roundabout from the M1 junction 13 for Milton Keynes South through the roadworks, and also on the A1 Great North Road where the roadworks are from the St Neots junction southbound towards the Black Cat roundabout. That's looking very slow too. In Stevenage on Valley Way there was an accident at Pear Tree Way, but that's now been cleared and it's moving fine. And the A40 Western Avenue has long delays from the Denham roundabout towards the M40, towards the M25. It's taking around an hour to get through that stretch. On the M25 anti-clockwise, there are queues from junction 20 for Kings Langley to 16 for the M40, and on the M11 northbound it's very slow after the accident earlier around junction 8 for Bishop Stortford. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30 with the headlines. I'm Barry Caffrey. Health bosses have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. Medical staff at Watford General Hospital thought 61-year-old Robert Wilton had a chest infection when in fact he had pneumonia. A prison officer from Milton Keynes is due to be sentenced today for selling information about James Bulger's killer, John Venables. David Hobbs is the third officer in as many years who worked at Woodhill Prison to be sentenced for selling stories to the Sun newspaper. Two former foreign secretaries are facing questions over allegations they offered to use their positions as politicians on behalf of a fictitious Chinese company in return for payment. Labour's Jack Straw and the Conservative MP Sir Malcolm Rifkind deny any wrongdoing. Britain's Eddie Redmayne has won the Best Actor prize at the Oscars for his role as Professor Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. Birdman took 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. And the weather, mainly cold and dry today with some sunshine, highs of 6 Celsius. That's 43 in Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England have beaten Scotland at Cricket's World Cup by 119 runs. Moeen Ali top scored with 128 runs, but Iain Bell hit 54 and Owen Morgan returned to form with 47. The captain says he didn't consider making changes to the team despite 2 heavy defeats.
I've shown faith in the guys who I've selected in the last 2 games. I believe that they are the strongest side at the moment we have available for selection, and I believe that they are good enough to win us games of cricket. So again, going with the same team today, it's a matter of showing confidence in the guys and not to create any panic.
In the Premier League, Liverpool's 2-0 win over Southampton has moved them to within 2 points of the Champions League places. Harry Kane's late goal was enough to earn Tottenham a 2-all draw in the London derby at home to West Ham, and Matthew Upson's late own goal denied Leicester City victory as they were held to a 2-2 draw against Everton at Goodison Park. Luton striker Mark Cullen may be close to a move away from the side. He was left out of the squad that lost 3-2 to AFC Wimbledon on Saturday. Hatters manager John Still says they had received an approach from another club.
Mark's expressed a view that, he'd like to take an opportunity that's come up. We'll talk about it Monday. I didn't think he was in the right frame of mind to play today, but we'll deal with it on Monday. At the end of the day, I only want players who don't want to play for Luton Town. Simple as that.
On Saturday, Stevenage were on the right side of a 6-goal thriller as they beat Southend 4-2. Stevenage were losing 2-1 until 20 minutes from the end when young Ben Kennedy came on. Although he scored 1 and created the other 2, manager Graham Westley played down his player impact.
When a young kid comes in and does all right and nicks a goal here and nicks a goal there and has the odd moment, I think it's rude to ignore the efforts of the team because it's a team game, and it's great that a young kid has come in and done his job, but let's keep his feet on the floor.
MK Dons had a good weekend as they won and their closest rivals both lost. The Dons remain second in the table. Watford lost 3-0 against Norwich. Wickham won 3-2 at Carlisle. BBC Three Counties Radio News and Sport. I'm back with a full bulletin at 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasenbemp Incorporated. We're gonna do it. Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. Nothing's gonna turn us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. We're gonna
spin-off of Happy Days. Name the other 2 spin-offs of Happy Days.
Mork and Mindy.
Oh, well, only because we did this the other week and I told you, yeah.
And Chachi loves Joni.
Wrong. Joni loves
Joni loves
Chachi.
He doesn't love her.
No. They should make that again.
Why?
It'd be fun, wouldn't it? I like Scott Baio, and I feel sorry for the lady whose name escapes me.
Joni.
Yes.
Scott Baio, is he Bugsy Malone?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was cute, wasn't he?
He's a cute-looking guy.
Yeah, I like that.
He was a cute-looking guy, Just. You're kind of like the English Scott Baio.
No.
No?
Yeah, Charles in Charge was another one of his shows where he was like a male nanny.
Listen,
to
compare me to Engelbert Humperdinck, and I'm a happy guy.
Hey. Now listen, Justin, before we get the lady's perspective, we've had some breaking news this morning.
Okay.
Catherine, what's the update on the baby-snatching panther that's prowling the streets and has probably killed a man?
No babies have been snatched, no men have been killed.
Yet, it's only a matter of time.
But we only had Pat say so, didn't we? And
Yep.
he hadn't seen it.
No.
His wife had, and his wife's sister.
Yep.
His sister-in-law, if you will.
Yes.
Well, his sister-in-law, Rosalind's on the phone now.
Hey, Rosalind!
Hello,
What's this about a panther? A killer panther?
Yeah, we went out to countryside riding yesterday.
Yes.
And we were coming through Barton and Streetley and coming towards Houghton Regis where the hill drops down.
Yeah.
And there's a line of trees. And as we come out of Streetley and turned left to go down the hill, we looked to the trees and there was a panther in daylight. And we both saw it, it's clear as day, and it went to the end of the trees into some scrub. So we drove down the hill, and we stopped the car with our hazard lights on just a little bit before the trees, and we watched it for about 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah. And it was obviously sat upright because its head was stretched. It was very tall.
I'm assuming, Rosalind, in those 4 to 5 minutes you took your phones out and took pictures of it?
No, 4 to 5 minutes. No, because I was just mesmerised, and I can't use my phone very well. And my sister isn't a very competent driver, and she was driving, and we just didn't think of it, so we lost the chance. But we decided, we realised that, and we moved down the hill and went into a lay-by.
Oh yeah.
And I said, well, I'm going to get out and have a look.
Oh no, Rosalind.
And my sister said, no, I'm not going to get out. Don't do it. And I just thought, well, I just brave, you know.
Well, brave or stupid, Rosalind? I don't know which one.
Probably a bit of both, because I have a brain tumour, so...
Yeah.
Your sister was wearing zebra trousers, wasn't she?
Yes, my sister Deborah was wearing the zebra trousers, yeah. But I got out first, and the ironic thing, she got out, and she was behind me, and I said, don't lock your car doors.
No, you want to get straight back in quickly.
I want to get straight back in quickly, and she said, I'm not having anyone nicking my car.
Oh, God, blimey.
So we wandered up the road a bit further and gingerly went along the main road up the hill slightly.
Great turn of phrase.
Gingerly. Yeah. And we looked back across the field at a backward angle, and I said, oh, Deborah, I said, it's still there. Oh,
Deborah the zebra?
Yeah, look at the zebra. Oh, that's brilliant.
You can have that one.
Yeah, and I looked across at the end of the trees, and I said, "See, I lose it when I get things." And
focus, Rosalind, focus.
Yeah, focus. And I said, "Oh, Deborah, it's still there. It's coming out now. It's turning towards us. Yeah. Run!" And we just really trying to run, and we must have.
Rosalind, do that again. What did you say?
Run.
But with a bit more passion. Go on.
Run like that. And I was really going, run for your life. I'm not kidding. I was like a banshee, and my heart was thudding, and this thing, and it was a panther. I'm telling you.
Well, how do you know it was a panther and not just a fat cat?
Jungle Book.
Well, I had a look. I had a very, very big look when it first crossed. When we first
but
saw
you didn't take a picture of
sideways.
Yeah.
Because we were in the car, and I don't do phones.
No.
And Deborah does one that does the pictures, and she was driving.
Yeah.
And like I say, you're just taken by the moment. And I wish we had, because we could have sold it. It would have been a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, you were not. It sounds terrifying. I love stories like this. Justin, this is the rest of the week is hunting this.
Boss, 2 words, no chance.
Why?
Are you going to send me out looking for a panther?
Yes, mate. You went out looking for Norman the Eagle. They're more lethal.
Well, no.
No, but your first mission, Justin, is to go and obtain for yourself a pair of zebra trousers.
I've got a great phone-in for you. Has anybody ever been attacked by a monkey for wearing yellow?
What? It's a very specific phone-in.
Seriously, I got told about this years ago. They said these green monkeys, whatever you do not wear yellow. They will attack you thinking you are a giant banana.
That's strange.
Now listen, Rosalind. We're getting loads of fruitcakes now. Not saying you are for a second.
I'm not.
No,
Real.
We've got Justin.
And I am.
You were, and you are, and you will be again. We've got Justin talking about bananas and monkeys. Ian has just emailed. Ian, I've just been in the Tesco Express in Cheshunt, and I saw a horse using the self-service till. Flip
No, that's silly. But that's funny,
silly.
actually, because I dropped my purse when we started running.
Oh, yeah.
And I dropped my purse, and it flew open, and all the coins went over to the main road, so you might find someone who go down there today. But I thought, do I stop and pick my purse up and coins? And I thought, well, I'm not going to pick the coins up because I will get eaten.
It's not worth getting eaten for change, is it?
But I will pick my purse up because I don't want the panther using it on the blooming bank card.
Oh, if the panther works out your bank card, we'd all be shouting. Yeah, it'd be awful, wouldn't it? Rosalind, listen, let us know if you spot any more animals.
Yeah,
Well, we're going to keep up. We're going to send Justin to have a look at it this week.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to see if you see it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've got an animal sat beside me right at the moment.
Is it Deborah the zebra?
No, Deborah's behind me.
Oh, hello.
And my husband is behind me. He's a polar bear.
You're absolutely bonkers. I wish we got
part of that story was her apparently having been the only person who actually says this, run like the wind.
Well, Justin, you have to go down and meet her this week.
Yes, if I can't get any zebra trousers, has anybody got any that I can borrow for this specific task that you've given me?
And also, I just forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, great.
Going to say something.
Also,
hang on. So you're going to go and meet her, talk to her.
Zebra trousers.
Yeah. Monkeys, bananas.
No,
Run like the wind.
No, it's gone. Doesn't matter.
Okay,
couldn't have been that good.
No worries.
What you got for us?
Well, you sent me out on a mission earlier on.
I did, mate.
Shall we have the jingle first? It's a ladies' perspective special. Here we go, guys.
All the ladies in the house. Yeah. The ladies.
The Ladies'
Perspective with Iain Lee.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
The ladies.
Cheers, Pete.
The ladies.
Yeah, in today's papers, shocking reports here. 4 out of 5 women do not shower every day. That is disgusting. And even worse, some admitted to going 3 days without washing. We were disturbed by this.
Yep.
So you sent me out onto the streets to speak to the ladies. Was this fact or fiction? Interesting report. Here's what happened. Madam, you look well groomed. You look fantastic. Some ladies don't shower every day. What do you think about those people?
I think that's bad. I shower morning and evening, and I think it's to do with long time ago with the British, like the war day, and they didn't have hot water and stuff, so they get used to that.
You think it's a hangover from the war?
Well, I don't like smelly people because coming on the bus, you do sit beside smelly people, and I feel soap and water doesn't cost that much.
Madam, good morning. What's your name?
Pauline.
Pauline. How often do you take a shower?
Quite regular. So twice a week. Yeah,
twice a week?
No, not a week. at least 4 or 5 times a day, 5 times a week, and 2 baths.
Hang on, I'm confused. You've gone from twice a week to 4 or 5 times a day.
2 baths a week and 5 showers a week.
What do you think about the fact that some women don't wash for 3 days?
Absolutely disgusting.
Wow, you're angry about that.
Yeah, I am. It's disgusting. So. Really sorry, but I've got to get to work.
That's all right, my darling. OK, have a good day.
And you, mate.
You look nice and clean.
Thank you.
Let's get the Hungarian perspective. How often do you take a shower?
Sorry?
How often do you take a shower?
Today morning.
Say again?
Today morning.
Today morning?
Yeah.
A ladies' perspective special. How often do you take a shower?
Oh, every day.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
4 out of 5 women do not take a shower every day, and some of them don't wash for 3 days. What's your reaction to that?
That is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Can't be right.
Yeah, you're saying it can't be right. So are all your lady friends nice and clean?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think I'd notice if they weren't.
So are you a lady who takes a shower every single day?
Yes, every morning.
I mean, if you didn't, how do you think it might make you feel?
Like I was at Glastonbury.
Oh, those
great perspective there, boss. You know, facts on the streets.
Those people that go camping and they just take wet wipes.
Oh.
If you met a girl who hadn't had a shower for a few days, you'd be.
Run for your life.
Wouldn't you just?
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Have I gone? I've gone early. Look, blimey. I've not gone that early. Do you know what? I will. It's Monday morning, 8:45. Some of the roads will be busy. 8:45. It's Monday, the 23rd of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Health bosses have apologised to the family of a Hemel Hempstead man who had his life cut short after a misdiagnosis. And Britain's Eddie Redmayne has won the Best Posh Prize at the Oscars for being posh. 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. We've got 1 or 2 showers just working their way across Hertfordshire and parts of Bedfordshire at the moment, but these showers could pop up pretty much anywhere for all the rest of the day. Some heavy ones mixed in there. Don't be surprised if you get a rumble or 2 of thunder, but the good news about today's rain is that they are showers and we do have some sunshine between them. A strengthening southwesterly breeze will blow them through fairly quickly as well. The maximum temperature we're likely to get up to is around 7 Celsius. Overnight, dry at first, but we will again see 1 or 2 showers developing, some heavy ones mixed in there, and we're also hanging on to the breeze, so most places should stay frost free, the minimum 1 Celsius. For tomorrow morning, rather chilly and fairly windy as well, northwesterly breeze, which will make the 7 Celsius that we're likely to see tomorrow afternoon feeling a lot colder than that, and that's your forecast.
Every weekday morning.
Let me get on with your consumer problems.
Should I expect it to last as a £350 TV or a £250 TV?
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Have you gone back to the retailer? I went and spoke to the company that you'd paid the money to.
The JVS show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
So I emailed again and reminded them of the statutory rights, which I've heard in your programme.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
They've backed down and they have put in writing to me that I no longer owe the money.
And we could do the same for you.
That's fantastic news. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Your team is fantastic because you look after the people.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So whose fault we had no travel then? BBC Kent. Send your complaints to at BBC Kent. It's their fault. They overran. And so there we go. 08459 455.
We should phone them on Twitter. That's how we communicate these days, isn't it?
We're poning them by doing a good breakfast show.
When are we going to start that?
Yeah.
Now.
That's not the right newspaper.
Okay. In 3.
No, it won't be.
2,
I'm filling.
1.
I'm going to be filling for
Now.
the next. Who's got my mirror? Who does BBC Kent these days?
That couple. A blonde lady and a man.
Okay. No, well, if you look at some of the internet radio apps, it's a blonde lady and a man that does this show.
Yeah.
Where's the mirror gone? Who's nicked my mirror?
I've got one you can borrow.
Oh, big cats. We've
Yeah,
got
go
a
on.
big cat been sent to us and we have photographic evidence of this. April Harper's cat is 4 bricks long. I can tell you it's 4 bricks long because it's lying very lazily next to the fireplace, which has bricks on. 4 bricks
Oh,
long.
is that a cat? I thought it was a lizard.
No,
I did
it's
a
a
glimpse
flat
of that. I
cat.
thought it was a lizard.
You know, cats can go quite flat, can't they?
Yeah.
It's a cat going flat.
Flat cat.
So there's that, yeah. There's
Here we go. Listen, I don't get this Mars thing. This Mars thing is nonsense.
What,
isn't it?
going to Mars?
It's never going to happen, is it? They can't do a TV show where the winners get to die. It's not going to happen. But we're getting all these made-up interviews with these plums that have been shortlisted. We've got 4 British plums have been shortlisted to the final 100 to get sent to Mars on a one-way death mission.
One of the young women said on TV, "I'm under no illusions about this." Well, you are. You're under the illusion you're going to Mars.
You won't go. Well, today we're focusing on Ryan McDonald, who's described as a real lady killer.
Is he the one with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wearing a NASA suit, which I think he got from Mothercare. It's hard to chat up girls when you're planning to live on Mars. No, it's hard to chat up girls when you look like that.
Oh, now, come on. Maybe he's got a very nice personality.
I'm sure he's a nice fella, but I just feel sorry for all of these people, because guess what? You ain't never going to Mars.
I thought they were supposed to pick out, prime specimens, like in James Bond when they do those training camps and they're all hot.
Yeah. Well, you saying that Ryan's not?
I'm saying that he doesn't look like one of the ones from the training camps.
Are you saying you wouldn't trust Ryan to go to another planet and start fathering the human race on Mars? You don't trust him?
He's a
to
very
do it?
clever man, isn't he? Is he Oxford?
It worked for Captain Kirk. So boldly going where no man has gone before should make Ryan McDonald a real lady killer.
Newsflash: Captain Kirk wasn't real.
But the Oxford Captain, what is a kiss? Let me show you.
It's a bit like the film we watched last night.
But
romantic.
Sexier. The Oxford University student says the prospect of his blasting off. There's more to the sentence. On a one-way trip to Mars is the final frontier for possible girlfriends. Honestly, if that's what you want to think is the reason you're not getting girlfriends, then go for it, fella. Why not?
Saying, so why haven't you got a nice girlfriend? Can't go to Mars.
At 21, Ryan is the youngest and only male among the 5 Brits who made the final 100 candidates for the Mars One project, which aims to start colonising the red... So they do want to start a colony up there. Start colonising the red planet by 2014. Dude, that's 9 years away. Come on. There's 9 years. You could have loads of relationships then and break up. Right now, he doesn't have a girlfriend, and he can't see the situation changing anytime soon. Ryan said, "Being single makes it easier for me at the moment, because what kind of conversation starter is it to say I'm going to be leaving the planet in the next 10 years?
Oh, I bet he loses that every time.
That's a great conversation starter.
It's better than Do You Like the One show.
It's great. It's like, I'm going to go to Mars, and I'm probably never coming back, so would you...
That's the best chat-up line ever.
I'm full on focused on the mission at the moment. That's the most important thing to me. So absolutely, I wouldn't be able to have a future with anyone if I started a relationship.
So have you met him then, and that's how he speaks? Is that why you're doing it?
The physics student and president of Oxford University Space and Astronomy Society. There's the reason he hasn't got a girlfriend. He's the president of the Oxford University Space and Astronomy Society. Hasn't ruled out an extraterrestrial relationship if he achieves his dream of the 7-month, 140-mile journey. He said, "Yeah, I wouldn't rule out a relationship out there. I'm an open person, willing to try new things, even if they are green with 3 boobs."
Brackets, not fussy.
Well, that's a plus point for some.
Skeptics believe the £4 billion Mars One project, backed by Dutch entrepreneur Bas Lansdorp, will never get off the ground.
Skeptics or everybody?
And rival scientists have warned that even if they do make it to Mars, the pioneers face certain death within weeks from suffocation, dehydration and starvation on a planet where temperatures are as low as -62 and there is lethal radiation.
So who's in? Guys?
But Ryan is upbeat about the adventure of a lifetime. Only concerned it's a one-way trip and he won't see his mum Jane and his sister Bronte.
What's his name?
Ryan McDonald. He admitted, I worry about the... What was his voice? Oh, yeah. I worry about the effect on my family if I'm chosen. Ryan assured his mum, "It won't be like I'm dying or anything. It will. I will still have internet."
Oh, we can Skype. Have you seen how bad Skype is on this planet?
If I do Skype to my sister who lives 20 miles away, can you hear me? I'll give you a call.
Have you stopped moving or is it frozen?
I will still have internet and be able to send video messages back to my family. They They have nearly a decade of intensive training ahead of them, and the first crew of 4 will prepare to blast off in 2024. Good luck with that. Ain't never gonna happen. Kelly's just seen him.
No, I haven't. I found somebody that I wish I hadn't.
Oh, gosh. Well,
That's what happens on Twitter.
probably best you don't tell us.
Good morning, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning.
Yes, hello, who's that?
It's Iain. You're talking to me. What are you doing? We're doing the show together.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, it's me.
No,
Yes, it is me.
there's someone on the phone.
Oh, you do the phone call?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me now or them?
Them, but they've gone quiet. Hello?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, who's that?
It's Iain.
Lynn, I'm going to put you straight through.
Iain.
Fader 1, Lynn from last night. Day glow in the dark Lynn.
Lynn?
Good morning, Iain.
Good morning, Lynn. Have you only just got home? We were worried about you, Lynn.
Oh, bless you. Just wanted to say thank you for a really good time. It was good fun.
Yeah, wasn't
Explain
it?
what happened.
It was a shame about the film.
Yeah, was it? Lynn came to see 50 Shades of Mayhem with us. Did you not like the film then, Lynn?
It was so boring.
It was really dull. Justin Dealey.
I don't know what all the hype was about.
Oh.
No, I just... it's in 3 parts, isn't it? So...
Well, I certainly shan't be going to see the rest of it.
No.
He made The Hobbit look short.
Yeah.
I mean, no, he was short, but that was the point.
You can talk about being short, Hobbit. Well, Lynn, it was nice to see you.
Thank you.
And but overall, yeah. Well, what a poor film.
Well, I think most of us thought that, didn't we? I mean...
We all thought it, apart from Dealey, who loved it.
And he's actually annoyed at us for not liking it.
He's got very, very angry. Lynn, do you go to the pictures often?
No.
No, well, I know, and when you go and see films like that, you kind of put your... Lynn, can I ask one question?
Yes.
Why did you bring glow sticks with you?
I really don't know, Ian. I just thought, well, maybe us lot in the dark, really.
Yes, it's a cinema.
She brought the mayhem.
You did bring... Hey, listen, thank you so much for the Haribo. That you were very, very kind, Lynn, and very generous.
Oh, you had
And popcorn.
We had popcorn. We had Haribo. I know there was one bit where Dennis had Haribo. Did you hear him rustling?
Yes,
this is like 20 minutes after the woman has told us off for making noise.
Oh, I heard. What is it? What the woman thought we were making too much
She
noise.
said, well, right, I have paid good money for this. Will you shut up? I said, it's not me, it's the old fella.
We all
She went,
pointed at Dennis.
yeah, she went, no, it's all of you. But then literally 20 minutes later, Dennis is there with his Haribo packet.
Oh, no.
And I was thinking, and then, do you know what? I actually pretended to be asleep then because I was worried the woman was going to turn around and have another go at me. So I closed my eyes. That's when you nudged me.
By her saying all of you, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh dear.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's not me or Lynn. It's Dennis.
It's Dennis and Biggers and Biggers and Kelly. I don't know what they were up to. Sounded very... Anyway, Lynn, listen, it's very nice to... Let us know, 'cause you're you're the lady, you reminded us last night, that is organising a concert to help old people.
Yes, I'm going to get that in. I've got some contacts, sort of lighting guy that can do sounds and stuff. So I've just really sort of got to get myself into gear.
I would suggest, having a lighting guy is great. I would suggest maybe work back a little bit and get a venue... And get a venue and some acts.
There was talk of Nebworth, and I think you have to book that like 5 years in advance.
To be honest with you, Ian, in all reality, I think somewhere sort of low key at the moment.
I think smaller.
Start at the small end, and then maybe
Work your way up to the big end.
And then
Yeah.
maybe, who knows? It might be bigger next time.
Well, listen, I've not spoken to him, but I think I can speak for Justin. He'll host it.
Definitely.
Justin will host it for you. Yeah, Justin will host it. And
no fee, obviously, no fee.
And obviously, if it can be put out on air.
Well,
I mean,
listen,
like last time, people were phoning in, events managers and stuff.
Well, listen,
so I need to get a team together that can help me, and then we can go from there.
Lynn, listen, keep in touch. So nice to meet you last night. Isn't it great to have people that want to make a difference?
Yeah.
Well, listen, Justin will host it. It'll be great. It'll be a fantastic compare. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. A bit late to call us now, to be honest, but that's the phone number you can use if you want to call Jonathan Vernon Smith.
If you haven't phoned us today, we did notice, and we missed you.
Your names have been jotted down.
Dave
Luton.
Matt.
Dave Luton has been very quiet. Well, yeah, I hope he's all right.
Dave would have loved that last night.
Yeah, he would have. Well, you got to wear his T-shirt. You got Dave Luton's T-shirt.
I did. I still got that. I'm keeping that as well.
Yeah, it's yours. It's yours.
Thanks.
You should send pictures of it, you wearing it, to Dave.
I've tweeted it, so Dave can just look on Twitter.
Yeah, good
It's a shame Matt didn't come, but he's waiting for the DVD release, isn't he?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A40 Western Avenue, that's looking very busy in both directions between the M25 and the Hanger Lane Directory through the Denham roundabout. It's taking 45 minutes to get through there in both directions, not helped by an accident nearby earlier. In Milton Keynes on the A41 Standing Way, that's very heavy on the approaches to the Kingston roundabout, especially from the M1 junction 13 for Bedford. On the M25 anti-clockwise, there are queues between junction 19 for Watford and 16 for the M40. And on the A1M, it's very slow from junction 3 for St Albans, southbound towards junction 1 for the M25. Samantha Burrough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much indeed. A new podcast was uploaded Friday, as it is every Friday. If you want to get it, you can go to the BBC Three Counties website. Go to iTunes. I'll post it on iainlee.com as well if you want to have a little look there. Catherine, thank you. Kelly, thank you. Justin, let's have words. Until tomorrow at 6 from all of us. Ta-ta!
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Monday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone In, do all pensioners deserve the winter fuel allowance and a free bus pass? David Cameron will announce today that if the